okay. And like I said, bear with me. I ordered a hotspot thingamajig, and it won't be here till Tuesday. I thought last Tuesday, but we're all good anyways. So, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for the continued support. Thank you for sharing this podcast. As always, like if you're struggling tonight, reach out. You're going to hear from quite a few different people on the show tonight. Most of them are comfortable putting their numbers up here. I definitely will have my number on here. All I ask is like if you're struggling, please reach out. Like that's what this is all about, is networking and staying in contact. The other thing I wanted to ask is anyone that's listening, like if you hear what this audio sounds like, if I get my feedback from you guys. And the main reason is simple fact is I can check on it now myself tonight, to be honest with you, because we're not using my internet for this. But yeah, share this podcast, share this show, own your recovery. If you are struggling, there's places like We'll Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street, meetings every day of the week. Places like 2218, Ridley, New Hope, Blaine, Alleno. We got like Serenity Village. We have so much stuff going on in the recovery community. Tonight we're doing this. At some point we will come up with some questions to give away, maybe 2 sets of 2 or all 4. If anyone makes a comment about, oh, I'm looking for all 4 tickets, we'll get them to you. One way or the other. If you want to go see the Twinks play, I got tickets for you. Gifts of recovery. But we're going to try to make it fun and like ask some type of questions about it. Huh? This is what it's about, baby. We got a packed house tonight. This is awesome. And the big new situation going on here is we got somewhat of what you would call, I don't know so much as saying a sponsor, but we've got a partner in this. We've got a place called American Pie Pizza. Best pizza ever. Like, well, it's super good. It's pretty good. It's a place in Ridgefield, Bloomington, Edina, and South Minneapolis. If you've ever had it, you know what I'm talking about. This pizza is serious. It's super good. I told Will, like, hey, we'll talk about this on air because it's not a deal where I get paid. It's not a, that's why I say it's not really a sponsor because sponsors pay you. I don't get paid. They do bring pizza in. But it's good pizza. And Will's in recovery, and he employs people in recovery, and I can stand behind that. So that's why I'm talking about American Pie Pizza. This show in 3 years has never talked about any type of company in that way, but I stand behind that. AmericanPiePizza.org. Like, they got pizza, appetizers, calzones, burgers, sandwiches, hoagies, tacos, pasta, shrimp, strips, ribs, basted chicken, salad wraps, and so much more. I did tell him I put that plug out there, and I'll talk about it later because honestly I'm rudely eating pizza while the show's going on. Can't eat much. I'm still on the recovery from this motorcycle accident thing. There was some internal stuff, but we're dealing with it. Like, this is what we do. I come back to these rooms to get the support that I need. Tonight we're going to have a slew of different people on. We're going to kick it off with Rob telling a little bit of his experience, strength, and hope. Jules here. We're going to have all sorts of people. Rob's hopping on. Jordan, Gracie, who knows? I got 15, 20 people here. So let's kick this thing off. And as always, like, we doing this show at We'll Work for Recovery. Like you see over my shoulder here, everything's flipped, so it's all backwards. But right here, We'll Work for Recovery. It's 2520 North 2nd Street. Bear with me as I get loud for a second. Does anyone have this show on their phone right now? If you could, pull it up and just tell me that we're all good. All right, I just had to do a little networking in-house. But you know what, Robert? Who are you?
I'm Robert Lyman, I'm an alcoholic.
Welcome, Rob. While he is sharing his story, I'm going to turn on this remote camera, and this is what I've The audience is like, shut up, Tim. Let's talk recovery yet. There we go. It finally just clicked over. You guys see Rob's mug. Well, Rob, talk to us, buddy. What's up? How long you been doing this thing? We don't want a long story, just a little bit. I'll probably interrupt and we'll interact, and I get questions that come in. So let's kick it off, Rob. Tell us who you are and what's up.
I'm Robert Lyman. What's the date today?
Excuse me?
31st.
It is the 1st of September.
Okay, so I got like 2 days past 15 months right now.
Hey, you know what?
Yay, me.
That's why I like that button. All right.
And, I've been here before. I've had this amount of time. I've had beyond that amount of time a couple of different times. This time's a little bit different. It's been a rough week. Dad's in the hospital. I see my nieces and my sister are arguing, but it's nice to be able to show up for family because I didn't have that ability when I was living in a tent on the side of the river.
So basically, like, life is showing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Life's just being life, and it's I know where to go with it now. And it's something that I always know.
What do you mean? You know where to go with it now? What do you mean?
When life gets complicated, I have a power that's bigger than that I tap into. I was showing through the 12 steps how to tap into that power, and with that power, there's not much that can really take me down. As long as I'm stayed tapped into that. And I just didn't realize the importance the other times that I got sober, because I got sober for the courts, I got sober for this, I got sober for that, and it simply didn't work for me. The book calls it the hopeless variety, and I'm absolutely that guy.
You are of the hopeless variety.
Yeah, and to each his own. But it's for me. I need to remember exactly who I am. That this is a disease that anytime I want to take on one-on-one, I'm going to lose. I've never been able to beat it.
Like you just continually, like, is that something you just remind yourself of? Like when life shows up, and I can't speak for you, but for me, like, with my head, I can't stop it sometimes from thinking, well, I know how to numb this. I know, like, my head, I just shared this on air with someone else that it bugs me. No, Jack, Rich, or R, because he was upset that his head made some decisions or some thoughts. I can't control the thought that pops in my head, but what do we do after that?
I can control the action.
There you go.
I can't control the thought. The thoughts are going to come. It's the better my life is going, the harder it's going to get.
I know, and that makes sense. I totally get it.
It's like I have some really good jobs going on right now. There's a lot of money coming in right now. I have a Harley now. I have all these beautiful things.
You have a Harley?
I bought it from this guy. He's not a bad dude. And then he wrecked his, but I ain't selling it back to him.
I sold him my Harley. All right, so real quick, what I did was I turned the camera off. Someone suggested, our beautiful brother Johnny B suggested that the camera's eating up our bandwidth. I don't know what
Johnny B's usually correct.
No, he's a wizard when it comes to. I was just sharing this too. Like, he asked me once, he's like, what's your algorithms on your peak season viewing and like all these things? And I said, I don't speak Chinese. Like, I don't know any of that stuff. I know how to sound like a buffoon on air type deal. All right, so back at it. So life's showing up for you. Yeah. Things are happening, and then like.
But it's important because it's funny that Johnny's just tapped in because this is a man that I was early on in my work and my mother's in not the best of health.
I met her. She's a great woman.
It was suggested at the time, like, maybe right now is the time to make your amends and get down there and do what I can to correct these things. And, in part of that amends process, you're asking, what can I do to right these wrongs? And, Dad wants me to show up for Mom. And it's not always easy to do that because, I don't know if you've ever tried to take care of a parent that doesn't want to be taken care of.
It's probably the same as a parent wants to take care of a kid who wants to be using.
Exactly.
Something like that?
She's real similar to her son. And, and I'm a pain. And, as these things have come up, and with my sister down in Florida, she's up here, and I have to show up, and I have to stick to what I said I could do in the night.
No, and I get that.
And it's, I know not everyone's at different points in their life, but I got to tell you, that's where I tap into this power. That's where I find it. That's where I find the joy in these things. I know that earlier this week, my father made a phone call to me. He said, I got blood clots in both lungs. If one of those lets loose, you're in charge. I love you. And sometimes you're big.
That's what your dad said this? So he's going through that right now.
Yeah. And I've never, sometimes your dad doesn't need to say I'm proud of you to say he's proud of you, because there was a time where he had a restraining order against me, it's about 2-3 years that they had restraining orders against me. So for dad to make a comment like that, you don't have to say you're proud of your son just for me to know it.
Right.
You know, like the love is there. It's my family is more of a unit than it's ever been as far as me.
I was just gonna circle you back to that, because I usually write it on paper and then I'll ask you a question. I write a word on it. But what's the reason your family is a better unit right now? From your side of the street, how do you see it?
Well,
I usually have the word recovery written down, but like I don't know what it looks like for you. But you're saying like this sounds like it's foreign. It's not always been a good whole unit with your family.
Maybe it was with them, but I was so. I love the line full flight from reality, but it was never like that for me. Even when I was a kid, even when they were all there, I was so disconnected from everything and everyone. It just never felt like home. It never felt like family. You know, like drinking and all that stuff came along later, and it was never the problem. That was the solution, because then I felt a part of it.
Right.
Then I felt okay. You know, like, so it was clearly that's not my major issue. It is the drink itself. You know, like that numbs reality for me, and it makes it tolerable. And this time, with that power that I speak of, and then through the amends, through writing, and a series of other things, and somebody that just took me through word for word and explained what the words meant as they were written in 1934 versus the way that they are now. You know, like there's just a lot of things that I didn't know, but I kept coming in these rooms saying, I know what I need, I know what I did, because I learned a lot of words in the book to use as weapons. So, because I got sick of old timers telling me what to do, so I weaponized the book so I could fire back at them.
I like how you just worded that. I weaponized the book so I could fire back at them. But that's just for like in the room type band. But we're talking about like with your life, like
that was that. In part of my writings and part of what I learned, I was weaponizing everything.
Okay.
I was, you know, like, so I can say it easily as I was weaponizing the book, because I found it in other areas of my life. I was weaponizing anything I could. I was either being a victim or it is what it is.
But you also said that you've been in these rooms for how long? Like when
Since 2001.
Okay, so 22 years.
Yeah. So, you know, like, so when I hear some people say, I lost their time, or I didn't lose the time. I've had years before, and I didn't lose any of that. I lost a date, that changed. You know?
Right, I get that.
And through those relapses, you know, the biggest thing I lost was that cockiness and that arrogance. You know, and I still have it, but it's not as bad as it once was.
No, you're right. You know what though? Let me read you something that Michelle wrote. Is that you're an inspiration to me and many, many more. I'm sure that you're showing up means a lot to more than just me. You're a person we all can count on, and you show up when recovery looks like what it looks like with your program. Like, geez, that's loud, isn't it? But people, the community sees, like, you know that you get involved. You are an outgoing person type of deal. Like at the Fridley Ride for Recovery, you're like a social butterfly running around. But that's why, right? It's this recovery thing.
Yeah, it's I had a luxury when I first got to the Twin Cities. There's a guy, I won't name names, Ken White, and he introduced me to everybody. And we had an issue at one point. It was pretty ugly. And you know, like, we worked through that stuff. And you know, I wasn't the type of guy that did that out there. Like, I don't work through problems. I just create them, make them worse.
I get that.
And he introduced me to people everywhere, all over the place, because he chases it. And Johnny talks about it all the time. The ones that seek are the ones that recover. You know, and
I get it.
So I frequent a lot of different places. I've also moved 3 times since I've been up here. So I once was in Coon Rapids, now I'm in Maplewood. Now and so I frequent both clubs. My home group's always going to be Thursday night in New Hope, men's group.
New Hope, Alano, Bass Lake Road. The men's meeting that he's referring to is the one that is my home group, and that is every Thursday night. Is that you said Thursday? The Thursday night men's meeting that starts at 6:30.
I was introduced.
Why do you get a home group?
Oh, geez.
Or do you need? I mean, what? Tell us. Pretend you're talking to someone who doesn't know what a home group means.
Do I need a home group?
No. What is a home group? Tell us what a home group is and why you choose to have one.
Well, I mean, above and beyond all of it, it's because there's more old timers in that room that are actually living the book than I've seen than I've seen in any other room, like ever. And I've been around for a while, you know. And these guys are there for me no matter what, you know. Like, and I'm not going to be silly and say I can call any one of them at 2, 3 in the morning. But I tell you,
this is the group that's smacked in the head for.
Yeah, they ain't gonna be happy about that. But it's but if they wake up and see that I made a call at 2, 3 in the morning, they're gonna call me first thing.
Right.
You know,
right.
Like, they're gonna be like, oh geez, you know. And there's a lot of kindness and compassionate people there that seem a little gruff, but they'll do anything for you. You know. And I got to know the real side of them before I ever went to their meeting. Right. I was out to dinner with them at Papa's every Thursday night, you know.
And that goes for anyone who wants to come to that meeting. You're also invited to the fellowship. It is. It's about anywhere between 5 and 5:30. We meet up at Papa's off of, God, is that 36? Or 42nd? Or it's Papa's in Crystal.
Yeah.
Right, or is that New Hope? Jeez, I should
It's gotta
find
be
that
New
out.
Hope.
Yeah.
Anyway, Papa's Diner.
Papa's
Great place.
Diner.
And
but that's where you started, kind of. You always went to fellowship there, right?
Again, that was Ken that brought me over there, so I could meet up with another guy, bass whacker, and there was so many guys, and they weren't speaking book talk. They were just talking about their lives. They were just simply talking about what's going on in their life, and the way that I wasn't used to men talking so openly about how they're doing, how they feel about it, what do the other guys think about their choices, you know, like.
Well, and the thing, when people ask me about it, it's like that. Now that I see recovery from a couple years of being in an angle, that's solution.
Yeah. And
with most of those guys,
what they were doing was they were showing me how to live, and I thought I knew, because I knew everything. Just ask me, I'll tell you. You know?
But you still sometimes not struggle with that, but that's still something that you.
Well, like I say, I'm a victim, so a lot of times I'm a victim. I'm a victim in everything. Just ask me, I'll tell you. And like number one thing that I would use was I would use on a regular basis the fact that I have mental illness, and I would say that because that's a defense that I can use, and I can get myself out of just about any situation by just blaming it on my mental illness. Now, if you know that I'm doing something, I know full well what I'm doing, I'm going to blame it on that. These guys showed me that there was a different way to live, that I don't have to think like that, and they told me something that mattered more than anything else. You're never going to think your way into better actions, you got to act your way into better thinking.
Ooh, that's one of those statements.
Yeah, and it stuck with me, and more reason it stuck with me is because I didn't know what it meant. I was like,
so it's intriguing to kind of take it on.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it was, Backswacker's one that had said that originally, and my sponsor now, John, says that, and so I started taking these actions, and my life started changing. I was showing up for 2218 for their ride for recovery. Like they had that giant ride. I started showing up at Fridley. I started showing up in New Hope. I started testing a lot of different waters to see where I belong. I heard a couple different people say find your tribe, and so that's what I did. And like next week I go up to Lake Vermilion. We go into sauna, get going hot.
What's that now? What's Lake Vermilion? What's going on with that? Is that an NA thing?
Yeah, there's an NA camp out up at Lake Vermilion next week. And it is amazing. There's the sauna halfway up the hill, get nice hot, and then you go running down and diving in that cold water.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, it's like down here, it's a bit warmer, but if you travel 3 hours north from here, it's cold. It's cold.
Yeah. Outside the
Yeah.
on the
Yeah. But those guys at my together, we all go out to dinners together. We get to know each other. We get to know each other.
the stream. There we go. I'm sorry, everybody. Hello, everybody. I hope and I think we are back. And I'm sorry, and I appreciate people that are sticking with this. More than likely, I will be having most all these same people back on the air. I know Rob. I'll get Rob back on. Yeah, they fall off sometimes. I will get Rob back on when we get this more. Listen, folks, I've been dealing with this motorcycle accident. I've been in the ER or the urgent care twice in the last week. Been to 4 doctor's visits. Like, my plan is to be back here and get this shit figured out and set up strong. Like, this was all just set up on the way it's set up. I'm gonna have this boxed out. It's gonna be kind of half-assed nice. I kind of have some carpentry skills I can apply on this one.
I know a carpenter.
Yeah, I'll take my own. Yeah. All right. What we're doing now is anyone got the show on? Is it back? Okay. So, Rob, what we're going to do is, you're kicking butt, but like I did you last week, can I put you on the spot and say, hey, you going to come back on?
Yeah.
Right, because I want to talk to Drew a little bit, but what I want from you is to accept something from the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you coming back time and time again until we get our stuff up to par. So on behalf of American Pie Pizza and We Work for Recovery and Attitude for Gratitude, here's a couple Twins tickets, buddy.
Yay, me!
Huh? Hey, I said American Pie. I said belly up. All right, and now, who are you?
I'm Jewel Slender and I'm in recovery.
Jewel, welcome. And you know what? Who are you?
I'm Danielle Slender and I'm in recovery.
All right, Danielle, can I ask you one favor?
Yes.
Get much closer to that microphone, uncomfortably close. So you were in line first, so I'd like to start with you. And of course, like, thank you guys for your patience with this internet stuff. Like I tell people, typically I'll have one headphone in and I listen to it through my phone, but now that I'm using my hotspot, like, I don't know nothing about it, internet. All right, so tell me about yourself. Why are you here? What's going on with you? What do you mean you're in recovery? What's that even mean? And I'm going to ask you questions that we all know what they are, but I do have listeners that aren't in recovery. So what does that mean, you're in recovery?
Recovery means that sometimes you will succeed, sometimes you won't, but that doesn't mean that you don't stop trying. You continue to try to do what's best for yourself.
I like that answer. Never heard it said that way. Like, sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed, but you keep trying. That's recovery for you. So how long have you been at this? Giving it a shot?
I've been giving it since January.
Nice. So what, you two cousins, or how do you guys know each other? I heard the same last name?
Yeah, it's my mom.
Moms! Woo, woo! Nice. So I heard you, like, I'm not breaking anonymity with no one, but I heard you, pocket last to me. I heard you share in there, and like I said, I'm not going to talk about what you shared about, but I heard you share, and thank you for sharing. Like, that's awesome. I don't know if you see that side of it, but someone else shared, like, when people speak up, especially younger people in recovery, like, it gives us hope. What made you come to recovery?
I've been in and out of these rooms with my mom since about 2021.
Okay.
I supported her to make sure that she was going to do her best. And now that we're in this together, it's a lot more support.
Oh,
It's very functional.
So, do you mind if I pull Mom into this a little bit? I'm still wanting to talk to you, but so what's that like?
Oh, well, it's functional. That's the nail on the head.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Danielle.
Again,
I'm
yes, I know.
I'm in recovery.
Okay.
I'm alcoholic. So it is a lot more functional than it was before, because when we were both using, it was off the chain. When one of us was using, and it was a lot.
I see what you're saying.
But it's hard not to get lost in the other person's recovery too, because I tend to fix, manage, and control of what she's doing in her recovery, and it can't be that way. And when I let her just do her, it just works out.
So, like, I don't want to say codependent, but is that kind of a hard line, like, because of the whole, your relationship, that's your kid, like.
Right. Well, and she's a minor, so it's like where do you draw the line, But then I have an amazing sponsor, Jamie, and
We have Jamie on the show.
yes, yep. Jamie showed up at my house in slippers and a robe. Shout out to Jamie. But she's helped me see that I have to let her do it her way, because nobody could tell me. I mean, I've been trying to get sober for 25 years in Queens, but when finally I made the choice and nobody else was doing it for me, then I was able to succeed.
Okay, I get it. I get it. And you know what, like, your story, that's valid because that's your story, meaning, like, how it works for you, or how, because everyone's got an opinion, especially when I've seen, like, a parent and a child, especially in these rooms, people like to put their 2 cents in. I've seen it, just whatever. Like, has that been an issue at all? Like, does it get under your skin, or is there things, because I can make assumptions, I know I'd get my head about it, I'm sure, but, like, has there been any incidences, and if so, like, how do you get through that type of stuff?
Well, so yeah, there's been relapse. There's been relapse on both of our ends, and like mine, I know that, like, if I'm gonna be honest with her, then she'll be honest with me, and so that's why it made it a lot more easier. You know what I mean? But because I'm sober, I'm able to give her the help she needs when these things occur. But I'm also able to meet her where she's at and just be like, all right, yep, so you're relapsed. Okay, so what's the plan now? What are we gonna do now? I don't go, okay, I'm going to a meeting. You got to come too. I used to. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So it if she wants to come to me, then she'll go. You know what I mean? Whatever's gonna work for her is gonna work for her. And when I let go of that control, it's made it so much easier.
So is it one of those deals where we realize like it's no? Well, for me, it was. I realized with other people like. The only way it was going to work for me is because I wanted it. And, like, I think about that with, like, family or people I care about that I really want them to get what I have. I
And
can't.
it's kind of like accepting people and meeting them where they're at, because not everybody's going to be at the same place, you know what I mean? But I know that, like, I've fallen multiple times, you know what I mean? I could never get it right. And now that I feel like I'm finally on that road to getting it right, I can meet people where they're at and go, okay, you know, you have a day sober, that's awesome. I don't get a day sober to save my life, you know?
So, like, for you, Joel, what's that? Is it? I guess all you know is being in these rooms when mom's around, right? So, like, that doesn't get in the way of anything that you can learn or grow through. Or is there certain times where you like want to be from in a different area because you don't want to be right around mom?
There definitely has been times whether we're not on the same page, or she's angry, or I'm angry, or I just need space.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I know that she'll still be there, and she'll let me go to a meeting alone, even if she needs one. She'll be like, hey mom, I just really need a meeting by myself. She'll let me go.
Yeah, and that's got to. How long have you been doing this?
I've been trying to get sober for 25 years, but I've been clean and sober for 8.5 months.
Nice. So with that, like, are you able to like put a meeting? What's that do for your recovery to know she's doing this? Like, is that help?
That makes it a lot easier. It's good when, you know, at first though, when she would relapse, like, I was like, oh God, this would just throw everything apart. Like, I didn't want to go to work, I didn't want to go to meetings, I didn't want to do nothing. So I realized, like, that's got nothing to do with why I'm staying clean and sober. You know what I mean? I'm going to be clean and sober whether she's doing it or not. And when I finally could grasp that and go, okay, this is what it is regardless, then it was okay. You know what I mean? Because she's going to get it when she's going to get it.
And that's what we learn the hard way sometimes. Like, I just know I understand, like, when it comes to family or it comes to loved ones, anyone you love, like, it can get real tricky.
Right. Well, so, like, and I learned early on too, like, when I stopped, like, with everybody else, stop putting expectations on people, and that's what I just start doing for my children too. Like, I'm gonna stop expecting that just now that I'm clean and sober, that they're gonna be clean and sober
Right.
too.
Like the Serenity Prayer.
Right, exactly. I have that tattoo right here too.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. But, like, you know.
Is that older than 8 months?
Oh yes, this is like 15 years old.
Yeah. I don't know. We try to be careful about tattooing sober dates on ourselves.
Yeah, no date.
But you know what? It's always it's your own. It's a memory.
Right,
Sure, it's what it is. So, what's been some of the biggest hurdles for you? And if you were able to figure it out, how'd you get through them? Let's hear it.
So I got sent to treatment, outpatient, intensive outpatient in January. It was a 6-day program. I was here for 4 months.
Nice. By choice or because, like, did you want that?
My action.
Okay.
Nice one, sir.
Looking back at it right now, like, is it because you just didn't want it then, or like, do you know, or?
It was forced on me.
Okay.
And I don't do well with that.
I get it.
When I'm ready.
Yep.
Everything will go wrong until I am.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
We do stuff like that, but yeah.
Big realization. As soon as I got out, I was sent to a so there really wasn't any point between that to mess up. And I was doing so well, I got a job.
What's a sober school? I mean, I know it sounds probably what it is, but
Yeah.
like
so,
for a high school, or is it like?
Yeah, it's a high school. It's called Peace Academy. And all the teachers and the principal and the counselor there are all years into recovery too.
Oh, they all are in recovery. That's
So
sweet.
They are able to understand why we did substance abuse, why we continue to
They can relate.
Yeah, and mental health, that's definitely a key in it. And so I'm glad that they were able to be with me when I needed it.
How long did you? Are you still in sober school, or is school even back in yet?
I'll be starting on Tuesday.
Yep, the day at the state fair. And what grade are you? Like, what are you? 10th, 11th, 10th grade. All right. And does this go to 12th grade? Like this?
Yep.
So you
Yep.
can. Is this? Do you have to pay for this, or is
Nope.
this is like a public school
Yes.
type deal?
Public school.
And you're digging it.
Yeah.
You do like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She got to go there for about 2 months, and Julie has really had a problem with like skipping school, like regardless.
Oh, huh,
Summer
thank you,
cakes,
Dave.
like, yeah, I know. Summer cakes, high doesn't matter. But with
I
this
did the
school,
same shit.
she didn't skip. Like she managed to go every day for 2 months and didn't skip and actually got credits. So like whatever they're doing, it's working.
Is it, now I'm gonna kind of dig into you about this because I think this is awesome. I never knew there was, like, when I was growing up, they had like alternative schools, but that was the bad kids went
Right.
there, or whatever, like West Metro or whatever. But like sober school, was it just that when you went there you felt like you fit in, or like what was the difference?
At first, definitely not. Just because
You didn't know anyone.
I'm not settled in new environments. It's not my thing. But more that my mom made me go every day. Told me to get on the bus and go. It was good because I had to take 2 buses to get there every morning, and it gave me the sense of freedom because I was in treatment for 4 months. I didn't have any freedom.
Yeah, and then you get to hop buses
when to do and what to do, or when to do it. And I didn't sit right with that. And so as soon as I was able to just take the bus by myself, it was amazing.
just a little bit of freedom, that made a difference for you, just like going to school.
Absolutely.
And then what? How about, were you able to make connections there at school like right away, or is it kind of not standoffish, but is everyone? What's it like walking into that environment of a school versus going from the what school you came from to that? Like, what was the difference when you're meeting all the new kids?
When I was doing the tour first, it was like a week before I was about to start. We walked into a classroom because the principal was giving us a tour, and every single person in that classroom said hi to me, introduced myself, asked me what my pronouns were, just like going
That's
all
cool.
out to just make sure that I felt welcome, because they could also understand what it was like being a couple months sober, a couple days or a couple weeks, and they were able to understand why I was there. And it's a bunch of different people and it's a bunch of different grades, so it was like I'd be in class with a 12th grader or a 9th grader, and it would just like...
Is it 7 through 12?
9 through 12.
9 through 12. Okay.
But at the end of the day, we all knew we had two things in common, which was mental health and substance abuse.
Hell yeah.
And they were able to all come together and were able to support each other.
You don't sound like a 10th grader. You sound like you done graduated high school. Seriously, like, I don't know how you compliment a 10th grader. Like, I appreciate you being open about this. This is awesome, and this is info. I want to get more info about it and put it out there because I know there's a lot of us in recovery that have kids that are going through similar stuff. I want to get back to you about a lot of this, but I got to ask Mom, like, how did you find this place? How was it recommended from?
Peace Academy was recommended from the treatment she was at.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so, and so she got in there just in time too, because like right after she got in there, then they stopped taking people. They can only take so many kids.
Yeah.
And it's smaller, so there's only like 30, 35 kids.
See, that's awesome.
So there's not
you
like
get
that
more
overwhelming-
one-on-one.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And they have an addiction counselor there, Rufus, who's amazing too, who gives them time, like when they get in trouble, like
I heard that
go
taco.
down-
We're going to talk about Rufus in a little bit.
Go down and talk to Rufus, you know what I mean, and try
Right.
and figure it out. And the principal that's invested in encouraging emails back.
And they all have time. They all know. Like,
Yes.
I know that there was kind of a big to do when I was in my ISO, or like when we were going through it, it's like, what do they know? They weren't in recovery. Talk about counselors or doctors, but I've since been way past that, and
Yeah.
like I understand they went to school, they got
Yeah.
experience dealing with dumbasses like me,
Right.
but it's to be able to walk into somewhere and know that, like,
Yeah.
that's one more guard I don't have to have up,
Right,
one more
exactly.
shield I'm not
Yeah.
blocking with.
Right.
So how long do you have? A couple months there and then summer hit, right?
Yeah, about 2 months.
So you looking forward to it, or no? Yeah, it's school. It's still
I always love
school.
the first week,
Yeah, yeah.
new outfits.
New outfits.
And then,
Ooh.
then it mostly goes downhill from there for every single school week, but I plan on just focusing on my school instead of relationships or just stuff like that.
Is that sometimes easier said than done though?
Yeah.
I'm asking all of us. Like,
Absolutely.
I always say, like, I want to focus on my recovery. Next thing you know, like, I'm so in love with this girl.
So I managed to stay sober by staying single, and I think that really like matters. And like,
Wait,
I mean,
wait,
like,
why are you
before-
laughing so? Oh, I can't afford it. I like that. Why are you chuckling so hard?
Because
Do you want Mom to have a man or a woman, whatever?
if that makes her happy and if they support her
You're
in
lucky.
doing that.
You hear what your daughter just said?
Yes.
You're fucking lucky. Is it just the two of you?
No, so she has an older sister.
I forgot to ask. Is there anything you don't want me bringing up? And if,
Oh, no.
if you're not comfortable with something, just say we'll talk to
No.
next. Just say next.
Right. No,
So,
I have
okay.
6 kids.
Okay. All of them. You all.
No.
Okay.
So her and her sister live with me.
Okay.
Her brother is graduated in college, and then I gave 3 of the younger ones. I give them up for adoption.
Okay.
For adoption because of my addiction.
Right.
But I still see them.
You
still
do?
talk to them.
Oh.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, now school. That's so awesome. Solar school. So you were there for them a couple months. Did you make any connections to the point where like you've been in contact with anyone? Like, did you make a new set of friends, or you've been in contact with them through summer?
Practically all of them, and then when I was in treatment, I met my current best friend, and we went to Pease. We started on the same day.
What's Pease?
Pease Academy.
Oh, the name of it. Okay.
And we actually graduated treatment on the same day. We
Oh,
started
yeah.
the brand new school on the same day, and we've been inseparable.
Yep.
That's your homie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They went to
And-
prom together. We went to the AA Gopher State. He came there.
Oh, nice.
Her was her only friend on her list when she went to Bible
That's
camp.
Oh, okay.
She calls it Bible camp.
Whatever. Hey,
Yeah,
your getaway.
it's a really good support. And
I used to call Joe unwanted vacation. So like, oh, I was on unwanted vacation.
The spa.
Whatever. Yeah, the spa. I think this is awesome. Like, someone, I see the side of it when you bring it up and you say like, oh yeah, so and so's in sober school. Well, instantly they think, oh damn, no, there's problems, this and that. But like, if I wish I had the cameras going because people could see like the smiles on both your faces. Like, this sounds like some type of answer.
Yeah, it really is. You know, so I tried to get sober back 25 years ago, and I went to a high school, and but it wasn't when I went back to high school after treatment, it wasn't the same.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like
right.
everybody's using, and then now I'm the outcast, and it's already
Yep.
hard enough being a teenager. You know, so this is like this has been a great thing, but the only problem comes is summer break.
Yeah.
Then what? You know, and so like that's what we're gonna work on for next year. Is what can you do during summer break? You know.
No, and I get that. Like, so have you guys gone to the state fair? Do you do
We
this?
did go to the state fair on Monday. Yeah.
Did you? And what did you think? What did we do?
Awesome.
So Jewel bought me deep fried cookie dough.
Ooh,
and
deep fried cookie dough.
It was
The
amazing.
one is that at the place by the arcade? It's right in the street
Yes, yep.
where they do the Twix, the Twinkies, the everything. They have
Fried
cookie
cookie
dough
dough.
now.
Yep.
Look at that! Is that fire, huh?
Oh, it was amazing. It's right by
Yeah.
the cheese curds.
Yeah. Oh. I haven't been yet. Like I said, I'm like not that mobile from that accident.
Yeah.
But my parents go, and my mom was like, because they go like 3 times a year, 4 times. She's like, why don't you come? I'll get you a moped, one of those
Yeah,
little
yeah.
Razes or whatever. I just didn't. I was like, no. I just feel like the epitome fat Minnesotan guy
Right.
just rolling around with a big bucket of cheese curds on my tummy and a big old pop or something. All right, but that's not recovery talk. So it is though. We get to do that now and enjoy it and remember it. Like,
Yep.
it's what it is. So I don't know. I haven't had anyone your age on where, because like there's certain questions like talk about higher power stuff. Like, is that even part of your life right now, or is that something that you want to talk about? Like, do you have a higher power?
I'm still developing it. I obviously from everyone that's been in here, the higher power is what they believe in is probably if you have different ones, that's okay too. I believe in somebody
You're pretty
else
open.
having-
Okay.
So one really cool thing
Real
that
quick.
Jewel said
Hi,
to me
Melinda.
is that Jewel said to me this one time, we were talking about God, and she was like, Mom, right now I don't believe. She goes, but I believe that you believe. And I was like, you know what? That's good enough. That's perfect. Hi,
You know,
Melinda.
Me and my mom had this thing where like a while ago we went to life shows up, whatever,
Yeah, right.
and I've shared with it. Matter of fact, with people in this room, like I sometimes get very envious of people who have such a strong belief. Like I want that. I want to have that belief where it's that comfortable where I can just be like, no, it's all good. A, B, or C has it. Buddha has this, or God has it. Like, I want to get to that spot, and it's a work in progress. So I like how you said it. I believe that my mom has a belief. I like that. But that's cool. It's like already accepting other people's stuff. Like, look at that. Look at you.
She's a good kid. She's
Can't
a
even,
good
look
nugget.
at, you can't wipe the smile off her face with sandpaper. Look at that. There's smiling ear to ear. Okay. Is there anything you want to share with us? Anything you want to talk about? What are you grateful for? What things are you grateful for?
I'm grateful to be able to wake up in the bed and raise over my head, definitely. First thing.
He was saying me. I was like, what are you talking about? Dustin?
I'm grateful for Dustin.
Oh. that Dustin out in that other big room. Okay.
Just being able to feel comfortable in my own home, not worried about if somebody is going to come in, if something is going to happen to my mom, if something's going to happen to anybody around me, because I feel safe in the environment that I am.
Oh yeah.
I did not.
You're a little shit. She's a little shit. She's like, no, this is a bruise from falling down those stairs. Did I say that right, Mom? That's funny. That's funny, but it's the truth. Like you're in a safe environment, and that makes life just way smoother.
I don't have to worry about what am I going to eat tomorrow.
And no,
There will always be something to eat tomorrow.
This is kind of I don't know, I don't want it to be a touchy question where it's like offensive, but like with you saying you had the time you have and you've been in and out, like, is that something that was a problem at one point?
Oh,
like,
definitely. Like I was, so Jewel just came to live with me
uncomfortably
about
get close.
Jewel just came to live with me about a year ago in August, and I've been in and out of prison. I mean, so Jewel, I've been an absent parent.
Okay.
I've been when on your birthday I'll see your parent. I wasn't there, and so Jewel and her sister kind of got dropped in my lap. And so it was kind of like I had to change my life up. I was comfortably using. I had no problem.
Right, that was
like,
your...
there was no consequences. I wasn't on paper. Like, it was okay. But I saw that she was going to need help, and so that's when I started to get help. Because I couldn't ask her to be clean and sober if I wasn't.
If you weren't. And was that... Because usually, like I said, we got to do it for ourselves. That was me. I realized, like, the only way this didn't work is if I do this for me. But...
That's what started.
Okay,
that,
yeah, and
now
like,
it's like she can do her, and I'm, But the only thing that's different this time is I have a sponsor, and I call her, and I use her, and like she says, speak over everything and use over nothing.
Oh, that'd be Jamie.
Yep, that's Jamie, and but I'm actually doing steps.
Oh,
like that's definitely helped because I definitely see that I have been the problem in everything in my life. Like life didn't give me a shit hand. I gladly.
Tell me, how hard of a pill was it to swallow when you realized that, or when you accepted that?
It actually made it easier. Because it's not that somebody told me, it's that I came to realize I'm like, I have been the problem in every relationship. I have been the problem in every parenting. All these problems have been brought on by me. And I was going to blame everybody and everything else for it, but it was all me. And when I could accept that, I thought, okay, then I'm the only one that has control of this. I can control me. I can't control what everybody else does. And like that acceptance, that radical acceptance has made life so much easier.
That's the business. Like, that's awesome. What type of things are you... Oh, wait, you know what? No. What do you have a higher power? If so, what's that look like for you today?
So I have a very close higher power with God. Like that's my best friend. That's my dad. That's my everything. I wake up in the morning. My daily routine is, and before I check messages, before I check emails, I go to my Bible app, and I have my Bible plan set up for the whole month. And I listen to that. I take a bus to St. Paul to work, and I listen to Christian music only because, like, I feel like we are what we put inside of our body. Mm-hmm. And so I don't watch shows that have violence and drug use because then it's going to trigger something. And then I go to work. I work in a sober house in St. Paul, and that's a very fulfilling job. And then I come home, and then I go to a meeting, and then and so that's my daily routine, my daily life, and I just make it all about sobriety and God.
I want to touch on something real quick about what you said, like with the music. My first year, I was at this place called Tradition 5. It's in Golden Valley. It's a AA meeting, and I remember this girl said something. She was sharing up front. She was like, "I've changed everything." Like she was collecting clean time, or her sobriety chick was the AA meeting, and she's like talking about what she's doing. And she's like, the biggest thing is I don't listen to no more hip hop. Yep. I don't listen to words with MF in it. Yep. This, that, like. She didn't say Christian music. She just like, I listen to like light jazz. I listen to things that aren't controversial, aren't like this twerking, like all this stuff. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like really. Right. But over time, I've known like when I'm hanging around people who are swearing all the time, I find myself like, oh, F, or being ignorant or whatever. The more what I surround myself with, like that has more control over me than I'd ever imagined.
Oh, definitely. It definitely does. Like it's almost like every day having to die to your old self and then creating this new one. And that's where like my higher powers come into play. Where like I'm finally on that purpose of where I'm supposed to be.
And comfortable with it?
Oh, I love it. I could never imagine my life as the way it is now.
So, what plans? What's the future looking like? What kind of plans do we have?
So I just have to take my driver test. Finally paid off all my child support. For 13 DARs.
How many?
13.
Whoa.
And so take my driver. I don't have these big goals, these big plans. Like I have my career.
You have plans and goals.
Well, I really don't. I just try to be better than I was the day before. And like life just keeps like showing up and being amazing. I have hopes, but like I don't know. Like my life is like I could have never dreamed it could be where it is today. Like I never would have dreamed I've been doing what I am at work, being able to be a mom. Like that wasn't like 2 years ago. That was not.
That wasn't even
an
option.
In the plan. No, there was an order for protection. I couldn't even talk to him. Life was so different, and now it's just I focus on God. I focus on my children. I focus on being a mom, and I focus on going to work. And life is good. I don't do a lot of service work, and that's one thing I'd like to change.
Okay, so wait, you know what? We do like a Wednesday meeting. Hey, Dustin, will you come hop on this mic? we do a Wednesday meeting here that's at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's a men's meeting, there's a women's meeting.
Yep.
So we do in this men's meeting, like when someone makes a statement like you just made about service work, like I want to get back and
Yeah.
and I know you already gave not an excuse, but you told us why, but what are you doing to make that happen?
Well, so I think like what I try to do is, because I don't have a lot of extra time, because I am responsible for 2 children and working full time, is when a newcomer comes into our work, is greeting them and saying, hey, I'm Danielle, what's your name? Making them feel welcome. And for right now, and every other Friday night, sometimes I do chair the meeting here at work, but I try to do the little things I can when I am here.
And you know what? I wait for people to give their answer, and then I always like to validate by saying, like, you showing up to a meeting is a form of service work. Like, you sharing and stepping up and chairing it or whatever. Just showing up, I see someone filling a seat and sharing, like, that is service work. Because there might be that one person who's got their eyes on you, and they're like, wow, she shared, I can share. Like, it opens up a freedom. Okay, so now we've got the superstar dude from recovery that we all been. You guys can kick him off if you want, or hang out. Oh yeah, go ahead. Boop. So this dude, I've been trying to get on the podcast for like 3 years, but he just wasn't willing to. You know what? Let's have him talk about it. Who are you, good sir? Yeah, you.
Now he's shy.
This is never would you hear him be quiet. Holy buckets, my viewership went up 3-fold just now.
What am I supposed to say?
Who are you, dude?
My name's Dustin. I'm a drug addict.
You guys check this out. Dustin's nervous.
Hi, Dustin. All I can hear is Rob's voice in the background in my headphones. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's wow. Oh, you got. All right. So, Dustin, who are you? What's up? Are you? Why are you here? What's going on with you?
My name's Dustin. I'm a drug addict. I'm here because you told me to get on the mic.
You're nervous, dude. You're weird. I've never seen you like this. It's just like this morning at breakfast, dude. We're just talking.
No, it wasn't.
I should have got Jack in here, and I should get Jimmy in.
No, I'm just kidding, buddy. I'm just messing with you.
All right, so Dustin. Oh, Haley, I see that. We got support. Thank you, everyone who's checking in. So, Dustin, can you just give us like a synopsis of your story? Give me like a 5 to 10 minute, and I'm gonna interrupt and ask about certain things, but like I know you're a faithful listener, and you like are one of my biggest supporters and listen every week, so you know how this goes. I was being an asshole.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
I'm always in your comments.
I know you are. I know you are, son. I know you are, son. We always, every time you already know, we always bring you up because of Wednesday meetings when you're in there and you're sharing. Like you help hold people accountable to their recovery, and we'll get to that. Let's hear your story, dude.
Well, the funny thing is I wasn't even going to be here tonight. Me and my kid were about to leave, and he met a little friend over there.
They're ping-ponging and they're foosballing.
I'm like, Dylan, we got to go home. And he's like, do we have to?
That's not right. I mean,
it is what it is, but, and I'm like, are you sure, buddy, you want to stay? And, because that's one of the things that, I struggle with. Does he want to be here? Does he not want to be here?
Especially with the whole, because it's the recovery atmosphere?
It's because he's 6 years old. Does he want to be here? Does he want to be at home?
Right.
But as long as he's having a good time and he's running around and he's talking people into giving him candy, I'll be all right.
And he is too. Like I don't know. From what I know of him, like I always see a shy little boy, but I get you being around way more. Like he maybe is more outgoing. But when I saw him playing ping pong with, I think Ashley's son, I was like, wow, look at the little deal you go. And he was playing. He didn't know how to ping pong, but he was there after like a half hour, whatever.
Yeah.
Dustin. Break us out some. Let's pour some gas in this motherfucker. Get after it, dude. I want your story. Give us a synopsis. Just
growing up, it's not that much different than anybody else's. Blah blah, yada yada yada.
No, we want before, during, and after. Just
look, man. I grew up, in chaos, and I thrive in chaos, and I love chaos, and
You started using it at 4 or 15 or 20 or?
Daily, probably 13, 14. The first time I was incarcerated was 11 years old. I went to St. Joe's Home for Children in Minneapolis. I was supposed to be there for a weekend. It ended up turning into like a 6-month deal. And then from there, I went home for a little bit, and I bounced from, juvenile center to juvenile boys camps, to boys prisons, to, and the one thing that sticks out to me that it just hits me all the time is I was in a boys home when I was maybe 14 or 15, and Dude, am I on camera?
No, you're not. I don't think I can turn the camera on without
Well, let me put
bad
a hat
internet.
on, dude. My hairline.
So you were at a no. Keep
I was,
going.
you know, when I was in a boys' home when I was 14, and I remember a guy telling me that if you don't do something different, this is only gonna get worse. And then a year later, I went into Lino Lakes Juvenile Facility, and he was doing my intake, and he goes, if you don't tighten up.
Oh, that wasn't. I thought it was like another inmate that told you. No,
this is
okay. A counselor type.
This is a dude that worked there. And then, you know, a year and a half later, I went into Lino, and he moved on, and he worked at Lino, and, you know, and he's like, dude, he's like, you know, you're getting older, and, you know, as things progress, the next stop is across the street. And
To the big boy jail.
yeah, and that's where, you know, my story ended up is, you know, jail's institution to death.
How long were you? I know. I'm gonna be asking questions. You know, I know the answers to, but a lot of these people don't. How long did you go to the Huskell for?
I mean, I've been in and out. I've been in and out since I was
Total.
11. A decade.
Yeah, 10,
You know what I
10
mean?
15 years of
You
your
know,
life being locked up, no freedom.
for sure. And so I don't know. I don't really. I have the same story, right? The jails, the institute,
Yeah.
the drug overdoses. I have
I'm not
stuff.
focusing
Right,
on the
right,
prison.
right.
I just
No,
want
no.
people to know like how much freedom you lost
Yeah.
because of what.
But the one thing that I do want to focus on is not so much the freedom that was lost, but the relationships that were lost. Be the trust that was lost. You know what I mean? Like, I have a 16-year-old daughter. I have a mother, a brother, a father, a blah blah blah, and that's where the pain really comes from. The doing the time for guys in our situation, it ain't that big of a deal. It sucks. It all sucks.
Yeah.
But it's just a part of the life. But the real thing that when you look back and you look at it, it's the time that you lost with your loved ones. That your loved ones lost with you, right? You know,
Because you never get that back.
right. You know, my daughter was 4 years old visiting me in prison. You know what I mean? That's not where she should have been.
No.
You know what I mean? My daughter went to school on the first day of kindergarten, and the only crime she knew was like bank robbery. So she told them that I robbed a bank or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, so as far as like all of the damage that drugs and alcohol and stuff have done to me, the one thing that sucks the most is the time and the trust that I've lost with family members, right? And the people that have loved me, and the people that have loved me in the past that I've pushed away. And you know, the thing that I like to, you know, hang my hat on today is the fact that I really do put an effort into like making it a point to reach out to people that I care about, whether it's my kids, my family.
Goals. Man.
You know, a prime example is I went to work this morning, right? And I pulled in the parking lot, and they said we're not working today. Okay, cool. So I could either sit there and be pissed that nobody called, you know, whatever. I could go down this whole rabbit hole of like why life sucks. And I did it. I hopped onto my phone. I started texting all the guys I know. I put together a little men's breakfast, a little impromptu men's breakfast, and we got there to show up for each other. I was able to pick up my son early today. You know, I was able to get some things done. And it's like I choose not to focus on the negatives anymore, right? And
Yep.
I can't determine how my life's going to happen. I can only determine how I show up. And I can either be pissed off, or I can look at it as, hey, now I got a day to go do something.
And you consciously make the most of the time you have now.
Absolutely.
So, all right, you know what? I had so many things, and I still do. I have all this stuff planned for you, buddy. So I have a good, pretty strong relationship with Dustin, and like this is the guy I call and I talk to. Like when we're on the phone, or when we see each other, like we talk about some life stuff.
Or when you get a phone call saying you just get helicoptered.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let's talk about this. So I got in that accident I shared with you guys about, and basically, did I call you?
So I get a text message into a group message saying, "Hey boys, I got in an accident in Wisconsin. I got airlifted to the hospital." That was the end of the message. So I jump in my truck and I'm thinking he's in Hinckley. So I'm gonna put that son of a bitch in the wind. And I call him. I'm like, "Where are you?" Oh, I'm at North Memorial. Why?
Yeah, I was kinda out of it,
No,
or-
you didn't say you got. You said I got in a motorcycle accident. I'm in the hospital. I got in an accident in Danbury, Wisconsin, and so I thought you were in Hinckley, and so I called you as I was walking to my truck, and I'm like, "Where are you?" I'm in North Memorial. How'd you get there? By helicopter? Okay, I'm on my way. Oh, you don't have to come. You just took a helicopter ride. Shut the. I'm on my way.
I'm thinking about it now. I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of that, and I think like I was a little out of it. I had a major concussion, but I'm thinking now, like I think I was on my way to Danbury, Wisconsin, but
you
I
were
wasn't.
You were on your way to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you got.
It happened in Mora.
Yeah, you told me that you got in an accident in Danbury, and then the next time I talked to you, you said you were in St. Cloud.
So end of the story is I got a guy, and I'm like, no one needs to come. Dustin's there for hours. Comes to hang out with
Well, yeah,
me.
dude. Obviously, you needed chewing coffee. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, PBAB, bitch. And like, so he's up there, and I don't know, like this is a good person. I'm like, you don't need to be here. You kick out, and you didn't leave, and you stayed. Like, and I think you may have even like, I don't know, advocated on my behalf with nurses. I don't even know. I don't remember. I just know you were there. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what. And here's it. Like I said, there is 1,000 times in my life I wasn't able to show up for somebody, right? You know, whether it be active addiction, me being in jail, me being in prison, me just being selfish, you know what I mean? But today, I'm at a point in my life where I'm able to show up when I can, whether that's for family, friends, or whatever that looks
The
like.
community, shit.
And I try. And look, do I fall short? Absolutely. Do I get caught up in my own bull crap? Absolutely. Do I want what I want when I want it? Absolutely.
So what I want to do is I want to bring up the men's meeting in our goals group, because you've been referenced on this show. I guarantee it at least 50 times, because when we have anyone from the goals group, you're always helping out. And Jack, of course, we like to use him as an example, because I don't know what it is about him, but like people I don't know if it's they take interest. He's a good kid. He's
a good kid.
And the growth on this guy is big, and like Dustin's a big part of him not, I believe, going back out or spinning out over some dumb shit. So what is the goals group? What's the men's meeting, and what's the goals group? Tell us about it.
It's an unorthodox men's meeting that happens Wednesday at 5 o'clock here that I've been a part of for, I don't know, almost 5 years, and it's the pillar of my recovery. The men in my life, and you know, I talk to a lot of guys that are in sober living. I say, how many guys live in the sober, whatever, you know, Timmy's sober house? How many beds are there? Oh, there's 300. Okay, how many of those guys are in this meeting? One. And okay. And that just shows you, because a lot of guys come in there and it's not a normal meeting.
No.
We're not going to hold your hand. We're not going to give you belly kisses and tummy tucks. We're going to, you know, we're going to get after it. And a lot of guys don't like that.
So we're gonna go into a few examples, because I like how you give feedback on certain things. It's not that it's just so matter of fact, but it's what experiences you've lived, and you share it in a way of giving advice is the best way I can come up with how you do things. Like a guy comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm in a sober house now, 3 months. I'm thinking about getting a job. I'm gonna probably get my license back. All right, pass. What do you usually do? And this is just showing the audience kind of what kind of meeting this is. I like to use that example because here's what we do.
It all depends, you know. It all depends on the guy, right? Like, I look at this to me, it's very easy. When I was using and I was in active addiction, I would have done anything. I would have done anything to get high. You know what I mean? Anything in the world.
Right.
And so I don't know where I'm meeting these guys in their life. Are you serious about getting sober, or are you just here to get it?
Yeah.
But if you're serious, here's my number, here's the blah, blah, blah. But also, I'm going to tell you, like, what is it that you want? Are you really, and I keep it really, I don't know how to really describe it, because when I'm talking to guys, it's kind of, I just shoot from the hip. Are you serious? Are you really going to be sober? What's different? Why do you want it? Because I came in here 100 times talking all kinds of bullshit, and I never stayed sober. You know what I mean? And so, you know, for example, Jack, right?
Yes.
So Jack came in, and you couldn't, you couldn't get him to say one word. You couldn't get him to talk. You couldn't get him to do anything. And for whatever reason, I just felt like he
wanted it.
I felt like he wanted it. He was just too scared to ask for it.
Yeah.
So I kind of forced my way into his life. Yeah, kind of like Rob. And so with a guy like Jack, like I knew the only way that he would stick around is if I constantly bugged him.
But would you even say bug him, or because you don't really bug, you don't even put that type of effort into something like that.
I would pick up the phone and I would call.
There you go.
And I'd say, hey man, are you coming to this meeting? I don't know. I said, well, if there was an 8-ball of meth at that meeting, all you had to do was drive there and it was free. Would you come get it? Well, yeah. I said, well, I'll see you at the meeting.
And that's how you.
And then I hang up.
Yeah.
And then I hang up.
And he's Joe.
Yeah. And and that's just kind of what I did. And I would constantly invite him to stuff. Hey man, there's a lot of guys. Hey man, we're doing a UFC fight at my house. We're doing, I try to get guys involved. And the biggest thing is like I tell these guys is like a lot of us in active addiction, we manipulate women. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Like we manipulate women to get what we want and the things that we need. And so a lot of men aren't used to leaning on other men. And so that was the biggest thing for me is like, I don't want anything from you. I don't need anything from you. I just am here. If you want to, and the way that I try to, I don't even do it on purpose, but I guess the way that I phrase things is just.
Really, if you want, you can sit there and put the headphones on like Dad, and you can hear him talk. It's cool.
All right, on our third mic is Dylan.
Little D.
Hi.
Hi. Not anymore. Here we go.
All right, buddy.
There we go. I'll mute him. You're good. All right, big smiles. Look at me. Look at that. There we go. Cheese. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
All right. So, basically, like with Jack, there was a point in time where like that seat's called for, but you're good. There was a point in time that you told me something like something was going on with Jack, and you gave him something. What, you just gonna sit there and spin out over it, like because certain people do that, and like I feel like you see that shit a mile away.
Well, and I think it all goes back to, like I said, I've been in and out of this system since I was 11 years old. So I'm very good at reading people. I'm very good at like reading situations, and I'm very good at like whatever.
No, you keep going. I was gonna say, you on. Come on, you're right here. Rob's waiting for you to still it.
But yeah, like I said, like I've developed a set of skills of where I can really meet people where they are, right? And I can kind of see that hey, you're putting up this wall, and let me kind of get through it. And one of Jack's things was he would spin out about stuff.
Yes.
And I could see it in his face, and I go,
Really good.
because he would literally call me and be like, hey, you know that thing you said on Wednesday? And this is Thursday morning. I go, absolutely not. I have no recollection. I don't. Whatever I said to you, I haven't thought about it since it came out of my mouth, and he's been sitting there thinking, stewing on it. And I just had to like constantly let him know, like, I don't need anything from you, buddy. I'm just here. I'm gonna push you out of your comfort zone. And that's just what I've tried to do.
The reason I use him as an example is because I know you could open up and share about that stuff, and like this isn't just with him that you do this though. And I like the way like I share about this with the men's meeting. I wish I could like put it in a jar and show people like this is how it is, and I think like that's the epitome of it. And Paul will say it at the beginning, like, hey, this is unorthodox. Don't take anything personal, because you're going to hear someone hold you accountable to some shit.
Well, and here's, I don't have a filter, and
No, you don't.
And the thing that, either love it or hate it, but I'm going to tell you the truth. At the end of the day,
Right.
like, you might not want to hear what I have to say, but just know that, like, I'm coming from a place of love. My place is never to hurt your feelings. My place is never to bring you down. I'm trying to help you, and a lot of times in recovery, people surround themselves with people that are going to give them, they're going to scratch your ass and tell you everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's not, because the harsh reality is, I know 100 people that have lost their lives to this thing. You know what I mean?
We know what the alternative is. We just talked about like jail and death.
It's jails and death, and it's very black and white to me. It's like you're either in or you're out. And look, and everybody's got to make their mistakes. I've made them. I've been on both sides. I've been the dude in prison on the phone. Baby, I love you. When I get out, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have a baby, and whatever bullshit that I needed to say. I've been that guy, but I've also been the guy sending money to people in prison on JPay. You know, my sponsor just got sentenced to the feds.
I didn't know any further about where that case was at.
My old sponsor got caught with a little bit of meth.
A little bit. Wasn't it like a couple 100 pounds?
I was 40.
Nah, just 40. Just 40.
But it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those deals where it's like, I've seen this thing play out, and I'm going to give you, there's more candy over there, boys.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the honest reality, and sometimes you're going to like it, and sometimes you're not. But just know it's like, I'm coming out of a place of love, and I'm coming out of a place of like, I'm really trying to help you, but I'm also telling you, because at the end of the day, if you decide to go the route that you're gonna go, like, I want you to know that like there is another way. And I'm not saying my way is always right, but
well, you go from your experience,
right,
and what you've seen. Real quick, I want to talk about a place called Fairview Riverside Lodging Plus. That's where I met you. And Dustin was this asshole coming in with these bright red shoes, and there was a Soviet support meeting on Thursday nights with Max, and he came walking by like, you could only go there if you're an alumni, and like he just got done, and I was starting. I didn't know him, and this dude's like, what'd you? He basically put a fire under our ass, and this was over a couple of relapses ago or something, but you said something about us sitting there versus coming into an opiate support meeting.
Well, I think the thing that I said is I've calmed down a lot since then.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I had absolutely no filter then. I was zero. And I literally walked up to Tim, never met him before in my life. I said, you coming to this meeting? And he said, I don't know. I said, well, if you can't make it to a meeting when it's in the same hall you live in, how do you think you're ever going to make it to a meeting when you're living in your mom's basement,
right,
and you're going to have to get a ride? Get out of here. And I just walked by, and I think I kind of pissed him off.
Yeah, of course. I was like, fuck this dude. Plus, he had friends there, and just whatever.
I got friends everywhere. I'm pretty awesome.
So, yes, he is. So then we're going to talk about a guy named Bob B. Like, what do guys like that do? What did he do for you in your recovery? Someone like that.
He 100% changed my life.
Bob Bauer.
And so, to be honest with you, the 3 years prior to me going to Fairview, I'd been in and out of a bunch of treatments across the country, here, there, and everywhere. I never stayed longer than 8 days. And I showed up on a Friday, and he showed up on Sunday morning, and he walked right up to me and said, my name's Bob. I was at home. I was reading your file, and I figured you're going to leave in the morning or by tomorrow, so I just wanted to meet you. And he came in, and he was super nice, and he goes, I just want you to have a great weekend and just give us a try, right? I was like, this guy ain't mean, this guy's nice. And I walked into his group first day. I was like, this is my buddy, we're gonna be friends. And we all sat down, and he handed me a piece of paper. He said, you're not allowed to say a word. He goes, I need a 5-page paper before the first break or you're kicked out. Why drugs and alcohol are more important than your children. Oh. And I go, what are you talking about?
I thought we were buddies.
I thought we were buddies. I go, that's not the case. He goes, well, clearly it is, because you have, Dylan was probably an infant.
Months.
Yeah, and Haley was probably 10 or 11 years old. And he goes, well, clearly they are. It's more important to you.
He gave it to you in a way you're giving it to people now.
Right, and it was like, and he's like, either you have it finished or you're kicked out. Well, the other part of the story that I didn't tell you is I had a warrant out of Anoka County, I had a warrant out of Hennepin County, I had a warrant in Mille Lacs. I was fighting a first-degree possession in Mille Lacs County.
So not only do you have a lot of friends, you also have a lot of people who wanted you.
Yeah, and so, and I was just going to run, and then I was like, you know what, maybe I do this. And I was like, all right. And so I just sat there and I wrote the letter, and you know, I sat there and I cried like a little drug addict, and you know, and it just, and every time he would just be so nice to these other guys, and he just hammered me, and then he knew that at that point in my life, the only thing that meant anything to me at that point in my life was my kids, and the fact that the shame and the guilt and everything that I carried from being a shit dad, right?
Right.
And, you know, like I said, I had like an 11-year-old daughter, and I had an infant baby that I barely knew. I'd seen a handful of times, and he pried on that. He pried on that guilt.
He knew.
He dug in on that guilt and that shame, and you know, and that's why I tell guys in meetings all the time. I just said it tonight, matter of fact. I said, what is more uncomfortable, to walk into one of these rooms and say, look, I'm a dirtbag, I'm a criminal, I've cheated, I've lied, I've stolen, whatever messed up things that you think you've done, I've done them. You know what I mean? The amount of crap I have burnt to the ground is unbelievable. Yeah. And so what's more uncomfortable, to walk into a room and lay here with all my flaws and tell you what happened, or the fact that, like, my kids are going to have to grow up the rest of their life knowing that, like, I just didn't want my kids to have that why.
You talk about this.
I talk about the why a lot. Like, if you talk to anybody that has lost a parent to suicide, to drug overdose, to whatever, the common theme I've always found is why. Why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't my dad fight harder? Why? And it's a question that can never be answered because there's not an answer. But I didn't want my kids to have that why. Why didn't my dad fight? Why didn't my dad get sober? Why wasn't I good enough? Why? But when it all boils down, it had nothing to do with them. It was me. I didn't feel like I was good enough to be. I thought I had done so much wrong in my life that I thought I deserved everything that I was getting. And yeah.
So Dustin, on behalf of American Pie Pizza, on behalf of Will Work for Recovery, and Attitude for Gratitude, we want to let you and you just take it and be grateful for now. You can give them back later, but while we're on camera.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? We wanted to present you with a couple tickets so you could take your boy to the ball game.
I appreciate it.
That's on Will Work, American Pie Pizza, and Attitude for Gratitude. Thank you for coming on and sharing. What I also want to hold you to the coals to real quick is, can I get you back on schedule as a guest here in the next month or two? If your schedule allows it.
Probably like the next 3 years.
All right, good enough.
All right.
No, you're not done. The main question we ask here is, what are you grateful for in life today?
I mean, where do I even begin, right? I mean, the simple answer is, you know, obviously, I'm grateful for the life that I have today, and the thing that I constantly think about, right, is I'm always looking forward to where I'm trying to get to, and I always feel like I'm not getting there. But the thing that we have to do is we have to stop and we have to turn around and look how far we've come, right? Like, It doesn't, as long as you're doing the right thing, where you're trying to go should always be moving. So you should always be getting frustrated if you're trying to keep moving. Like, I was never content with an ounce of meth. I wasn't content with 10 pounds. It always had to be more and more and more.
Right.
But what the thing is in sobriety is I need to stop. I need to look at where I came from and look how far I've come over the last almost 5 years, and just be grateful that I'm not that person anymore. Because the life I have today, I would have killed somebody 5 years ago.
Thank you, Rob. I love you, Rob H. Eye candy's got to leave now. I made him come up here to fill a seat, and I didn't even put him on.
Why don't you got your titties out today?
Whoa. So, what do you say, we got to wrap it up? Oh, I thought you were like, wrap. Rob, I love you, Rob. Thank you. Dustin.
Maddie, you're just going to look at yourself in the mirror? It's just video.
Love you, Rob.
You have a face for a radio.
Oh, what a dickhead. So, we got someone named, we got someone named Jamie M, Melinda S, Naomi, Megan, Nick H, all talking about Winsy coming back on. Thank you, we love you.
I don't know any
thank
of
you
those
for the
people.
support. The red shoes, LOL.
So is Jamie.
A lot of people, like I said, you're like our big get.
I'm the Joe Rogan.
You're the the Joe Rogan, dude.
No, you're Joe.
You know what? That hurts to even raise my left arm. Dustin, thank you. I love you. You don't have to go nowhere because you're gonna. Now is when you pipe in as like co-host shit. All right. Now we have a couple ladies in the house.
Couple ladies.
Who are you?
I'm Maddie.
Maddie.
Mad Dog
Just Maddie, huh?
I'm Maddie. I'm an alcoholic addict.
Bet. Who are you?
I'm Jen. I'm an addict.
Oh, jeez. I gotta make
Hi,
the camera
Jen.
better. Sorry, girls. Well, hell. Tell me about yourself. Who are you? What's up? And someone yelled at who? Someone yelled at me for having the camera down like this towards you. So let's just do straight.
Oh my goodness, that's intense.
Put it down here.
Well, I had it down there, but then they get mad. They like, don't look up at me. There you go. Perfect. It's about straight on. While you're sucking on a sucker. Okay.
Oh God.
Just give me a little quick couple minutes of your story. Like, how long you been here, and like, why'd you come here, and what's good?
Okay, so my name's Maddie. My real name's Madeline.
Madeline. What do you prefer to be called?
Maddie.
All right, Maddie.
I'm 27. I
like long walks on the beach.
no, I don't know. I've been at this for, a few years. My first serious treatment, I had my 21st birthday in treatment. But I was, getting in trouble far before then, but I decided to try to get a hold on it, around then, and then, I just kind of kept messing up, I wasn't taking life seriously, I wasn't taking jobs seriously, I wasn't taking people seriously, I wasn't taking myself seriously, and I just kept running, and, in between there was a lot of treatments, there was a lot of DWIs and just stupid shit I got myself into. I ruined the relationships with my family. I have 3 older brothers. My dad is an alcoholic, and he's in recovery now too, so that's pretty cool. We have a complicated relationship as far as like what his recovery looks like and then what mine looks like. He used to try to tell me how to do things, and I appreciated the guidance, but at the same time it looks so different for like a young woman versus
an old man,
the old ass man.
Quit knocking people like me.
What?
Paul's like, good point.
Yeah. So I, but it also took me like time to accept that was okay, because I used to beat myself up for like, he would be like, well, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, and I'd be like, yeah, he's right, like I'm not doing this right, and I would think that there's like a right or wrong way to do this, and I think everyone's, like, obviously we all hear this, right? Everyone's recovery looks different, but like I truly believe that, and I just feel like everyone grows at different times, and like that looks different for everybody, and I feel like that's okay. But yeah, so it took me a long time, I feel like, to just finally, like, I felt like this last relapse, it was like my 3rd DWI. I had a client in the car, and I lost a really meaningful job for me. It woke me up,
High five on that.
Get her done.
It woke me up. Like, I was so, like, that was like, for me, that was like,
that was your
huge.
wake up call.
Yeah, like, and before that, I thought the other thing was the wake up call, and the other thing was the wake up call, but like, this last thing was like it,
Right.
And so, I went to treatment again, and I went to Progress Valley. I really liked that program. They have a really good step-down program. I did their sober housing. I was there for like 2.5-ish years, 3 years or something like
Why are
that.
you looking? Is that your sponsor or something? Is that your teacher or your mom?
We were roommates. That's my mom, yeah.
Okay. I was like, okay,
And,
you're looking at her friend. All right, so listen, you gave us a lot of information about kind of like your experience, and like, so now I'm gonna push things along.
Yes, please do.
Don't take it personal the way I'm doing it. And if there's something you guys don't want to talk about and I start asking, just be like, next. I'm okay with that, because I didn't ask you ahead of time, because there's something you don't want me bringing up. So I'm sorry about that. But what I wanted to like talk with you about, like, so I seen you chairing the meeting tonight. Mm-hmm. Like, you are involved in recovery right now. Mm-hmm. What does your recovery look like? Like, what do you do to stay on your game with recovery when it comes to recovery?
So yeah, that was big for me. When Paul, had asked me if I wanted that service commitment, I felt honored, and I felt like I was nervous. I used to never talk at meetings, and if my number got called, you know, I was the one that never said my number. Like I would just sit there, and then people would be like, "I'll take it," and I'm like,
Thank you.
you know. And I was just so nervous, and I just felt like I didn't know what to say, and I think that was because I maybe wasn't doing shit to be proud of or something. Anyways, so when he asked me to do that, I was like, okay, this is a perfect opportunity. I can't really say no. Let's just do this. So it's that. It's following through. Like I was saying that today at the meeting, just like following through. Say I'm going to do something, do it. That's big in my recovery. Being like, you know, that book, the 4 Agreements.
Yes.
One of them is like be impeccable with your word or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I think it's really important to me. It's meeting with women, you know, hanging out with women on Thursday nights. We have the super fun pool party thingy.
I just saw that. Didn't Samantha start something like that?
Yeah. And it's just cool to like have friends, you know, like I have people that like check on me, and like I really just started going to events. I truly like owe a lot of it to my mom here.
The 4 Agreements. That's the name of the book.
I literally almost like 2 weeks ago in our men's morning text.
Yeah.
I literally almost laid out the 4 agreements because
From that book, or from?
Yeah.
It's a book, or like a.
It's like a self-help book,
yeah.
like you read it as like
Almost like a 24-hour a day, or
Yeah.
one day at a time type deal.
But it
Yeah.
has nothing to do with recovery.
It
yeah, but
doesn't?
it's just like
Right? No, it's life.
Okay.
it's just
Be
good things.
impeccable with your words. I can't even remember about that.
But yeah, so that's just, you know, just like hanging out with people that surround yourself with people that you want to be like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Gotta get closer on your mic.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just you know, hanging around people that you want to be like, staying connected, going to events,
A little loud. All right.
and meetings and working and making appointments and you know that shit.
All right, Dustin's gonna not let that type of wither away slide die. He just won't let it slide. Not on the podcast. He'll make sure that you follow through in your statements and that you're clear about them, because this is a good book that it's helped you. Correct?
Yeah,
All right.
100%.
Now you come to Will Work for Recovery. Do you go to any other places for meetings?
Yeah, sometimes I go to Central Pacific on Thursdays.
Thursdays?
Yep, I like CP. 2218, very rarely, but sometimes. And honestly, I feel like I haven't really gone to a whole lot of other ones recently. Oh, maybe yep, that's
It's a, you know what? Here, let me do
the
this.
bonfire meeting
What, out at Bob's?
at Bob and MJ's.
Okay. Talk to us about it. What is it? What's a bonfire meeting?
So I think it's like every last.
Yeah.
I think it's every last Friday of the month, and they just have a bunch of people come together. They got a potluck. You know, you bring food, and then they host a meeting, and it's super cool, and it's fun, and it's different, which I think is cool. They have a really beautiful yard, and it's big. There's a lot of people that go there.
Yeah, there's like up to hundreds of people that will show up.
This is Ree.
Oh, this is, yeah, there you go, smile.
America's Most
We just
Wanted.
have a party in here. Like I said, anyone that's listening, you can come down to 2520 North 2nd Street. It's called Will Work for Recovery. This is where we're doing the podcast. I mean, come down here. You don't have to get on camera. You don't have to be on the air, but come down here and just hang out and do the fellowship. We're doing this American Pies, stepping up, putting out some pizzas, and it is fire pizza. Look at that right there. Oh, it's so good. I put it up there with any of them, Tasties and like all those. Like Broadway, it's better. It's better. Plus, we got halfway decent guys that run the place right there. You don't have to be on air, but you can wave. There we go. There we go. So, I know we're fast forwarding through a lot of this and like not diving in deep like we do when I have just a guest on, but we're switching things up here and we're going to kind of rotate a lot. And when we get questions, well, that's the other thing, audience. If you have any questions for my guests, ask them. And if you'd like, I'll ask them. Otherwise, my number's going across the bottom of the screen. If you don't want it being posted, you can definitely just message me. People do that all the time. Also, 2520 North 2nd Street. We'll Work for Recovery. Every single day, there's meetings here. 7 o'clock in the evening, 6:30 a.m. in the morning, noon. Like, there's tons. And just you can come to the website. Also, there's a library on here. A lot of people are upset that they didn't know Dustin was going to be on, and they're like, "Oh, why didn't I go on from the beginning? I want to see the whole show." You can always, once this is done, you can.
He's the
replay
man.
it. He's more than that.
Yeah.
You better ask his pronoun before you just call him that.
Dylan's the man.
Dilly. So if you guys are interested in whatever, just let me know. If you want to see us doing a specific thing with the show, just let me know. It's your show. It's not mine. This is my Friday night meeting. So that's what you're doing for your recovery. Do you have any service positions like that are your service positions, or I don't know how Friday nights work? That's your service position?
Yeah.
All right. What's the name of that book again? Oh, it's the
Four Agreements.
Agreements.
Should I Google it
Yes.
super quick?
So you can
Okay.
give me the info and I'll put it in the little search bar down there.
But wait, I just wanted to finish
You
one
gotta
thing.
just jump in whenever you want. Go ahead.
Because I obviously I'm joking. Jen's not my mom, but what I wanted to say is we've like helped each other come out of each other's shells, right? But I feel like I wouldn't know or feel comfortable without her. So I just wanted to give her that little shout out because she's been by my side through it from the beginning. But okay.
So you think it's good for women to come into these rooms and find other women or find men?
He's joking,
women,
but
yes.
people that are listening don't really come to recovery. So we're gonna ask some silly questions sometimes, and just bear with it.
No, I think women.
I think that's a good point right now with having two women on. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, open up your DM. Let's see. Let's go.
Let's get it.
It's by Don Miguel. Is that you? It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. The fourth agreement.
So
Thank you, Naomi.
do we just want to show a picture?
No,
of it, or-
someone already took care of it. My audience is
Thank
the
you.
business.
Yes.
Yes.
Pull it up, Jamie.
All right, so check this out. We have two women on and two boys, and Dustin just brought up a good point. Like some call it 13-7. Some people just come to these rooms for the wrong reason, and we can't kid ourselves. Work for Recovery is a spot with a lot of newcomers. Don't ever pull your shirt up in my background of the video again.
Like that, like my sweat.
What do you guys? How do you deal with that? Are you guys here looking for men, or so I'm being genuine. Like, you come here and you're like, all right, I need my recovery, or you come in here like, shit, maybe I could find a good guy in the rooms of recovery. I know that sounds so silly to even say it.
It's an oxymoron.
But it's valid. Like, the relationship I first got into in recovery was someone I met in these rooms. Like, that's just what it is. I want your take on it, and who are you?
I'm Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Hi,
Mom.
Jen.
You out of here? Thank you, Jewel. Thank you so much. Good luck on school.
Jewel.
And I'll be seeing you again, right?
Jewel's a beast.
Jewel's the shit. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you again. Jen.
Okay, so I think that I definitely don't want to say we come in the rooms looking for that, but I can speak for myself. I've gotten caught up in that, and it wasn't the best idea, and it didn't turn out well, but I did learn from it, so, I mean, there's that.
All right, so
Yeah.
that was pretty just cut and dry. I guess it's common sense. Like,
Yes.
it happens. We understand
Well,
with
you say
relationships.
it's common sense, but I mean, we all. And look, and I can't.
I was
say,
guilty of it.
I can't say. I
Yeah,
have a
let's
child
hear
that-
about your this most recent child. I mean, it's a miracle in my eyes because Dilly's the shit, and I love Melinda, and I love you. But if you're okay sharing about like that? 'Cause
Yeah, it's simple. It's when you walk into these rooms and you are looking to fill a hole in your heart or in your soul or whatever.
I was gonna say, come on.
And sometimes, and sometimes, when all of that happened, I wasn't in a point of trying to fix myself. I wanted somebody to fix me. I wanted to fill an internal hole with an external. That's why.
Good way of wording it.
I tell these guys, you don't need that flashy car, the this, the that. I have a BMW tattoo because all I drove was BMWs. Because you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but it's all it is you're just trying to fill an internal hole with external stuff.
Yes. Or I think sometimes I try to be a fixer, and I think I can change them, or I can help them, or
But is that a character defect, you think, or is that just something we do as humans sometimes?
I think a lot of times, at least for me, it was if I can focus all of my energy on Tim, then I don't have to look at Dustin.
Yeah.
And if let's say I spend a year of my life focusing on Tim, and then it all falls to crap, I can't blame Dustin. I blame Tim.
I see
because
what you're
I was here to help. I was trying to do the next right thing. I did this, and once again, I'm not good enough. I got crapped on. I blah, blah, blah. But you passed 1,000 red flags that told you to stop. And it's one thing I tell my daughter I tell my daughter all the time is hey, you're on a road, you know, and I can tell you where the dead ends are. I can tell you where you might fall short. But a lot of times I have to let her go on her own journey. And you know, I want all of the people in my life to not make the mistakes that I've made. Mm-hmm. But the only reason why I learned from them is because I'm hard-headed. I had to go down that road.
You made
myself.
those mistakes.
Yes,
and
I've had that exact conversation with three separate people today. Today.
Yeah, you do. You maintain contact with what, a couple dozen people every day, or at least a dozen.
I try. You know, it all depends on what's going on in my life and how things are working. And I literally was talking to Melinda about this today, where it's like I only see what's right in front of my face a lot of the times. Where it's like if I bump into Jen or Maddie or you and we're talking and something comes up, I just say it. Uh-huh. And you know, you or Maddie or Jen could talk to me about it tomorrow, and I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I guess if that's what I said, you know, because I'm just so in that moment, just telling you from my heart. I don't remember what I said because I didn't write it down. I just spoke from my heart, and then I just kept moving. But at the same time, like, the only reason why I can do that is because I've made every single mistake in recovery and in life, and there was 1,000 people like me telling me not to make the mistake, and I did, and I had to learn from it. And I don't know how I got on the other side of it, and I'm now where I'm at. I look at guys that, I mean, there's a guy I see at a different meeting I go to that was literally in treatment with me 5 years ago that's still in and out of treatment, and I don't know why I'm not him.
But you were him for how many years? You feel me?
Right.
Like. And who knows, what is the reason we end up putting the fucking shovel down? I don't know why. And there wasn't some reason. Like, a lot of people say, oh, well, so-and-so died, or X, Y, and Z happened. I don't have a reason, and I can't tell you why I put the shovel down. Everyone's story is different. Speak on it.
Just one day, everything just, like, made sense, and everything just was, like, maybe you were sick and tired, or just, it's just, like, that defining moment that you're just finally like, okay, yeah, this is what I want.
Well, the thing that I shared about in the meeting tonight was, for so long I thought the problem was drugs, alcohol, girls, gambling, whatever the thing is. I thought that was the problem. It wasn't the problem. The problem was me, and the answer to my problem was drugs.
Yes.
And so
when symptom.
Yes. So when I came in here and I started working on me, then all of a sudden there was no more. The solutions changed because that wasn't how I dealt with my problems. You know, like, I've dealt with a lot of loss in recovery, a lot. A lot of people I know have died in this thing, and I'm kind of cold to it at this point. But the harsh reality
sucks.
It does suck.
I'm sick of letting balloons go, and I'm sick of T-shirts, but that's a reality of what we're doing here.
Right.
It's a reality.
You all right?
Yeah, there's flies, or maybe I'm just tweaking. Will, what'd you put in those pizzas?
Well, it's like you can't save somebody that doesn't want to save themselves.
100%.
So, like, you know, it's
100%.
really sad, but at the end of the day, like, they want it bad enough. Someone told me the other day, addicts are one of the most resourceful people.
Resourceful, resilient.
If they want something, they're gonna go get it. Actually, it was Carolyn. Shout out Carolyn, right?
Yeah. Well wishes, Carolyn. We hope you're getting better.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, if they want something, they want it bad enough. And I think that's why, Dustin, you strive so much. You know, it's like one day you're just like, I'm going to put all what I was doing into that life, into this life, and see what happens.
Well, and the funny thing is like, I think about it all the time, right? Like, and that's what I tell these guys and that's what I tell these guys in the men's group. And that's why I'm so straight to the point, brutally honest, like
Bob.
Like, if I can do it, you can do it. If you walk into this room and you're looking to fill that void, and you come in here, and men, you see it with men a lot. They'll show up late to the meeting. They'll show up late to the meeting because they had to go home and put on their best clothes, their blah 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 blah, and I know that because I was that guy.
Right.
I was the guy that had to show up in the new BMW. I had blah blah blah, like, and then I realized, like, let's just say by chance I did walk into this meeting and found my person, right? But they didn't meet the real me. They meant the representative. Because 99% of my life, I'm wearing work boots and dirty ass clothes.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, you're meeting the show.
Right.
When you come in here doing this song and dance with this dressing up, looking pretty, and that, you know what, I'll allude to it now is when you were talking about like you'll watch someone when they come in and see what they're about, and it's shit like that. You walked in 5 minutes late. You got cologne on to a men's meeting, and you're buttoned up and matching
I put
shoes.
on a little deodorant, but that's.
You know what I'm saying, but like that type of shit, you will call, like you don't really call someone out on it, but you hold them to it. We've done it every Wednesday, like, but make it clear, don't take it personal. But this is where you're gonna come to get some feedback.
But a lot of times, like I get it, like I get, especially like I can see the women that walk in here and I tell the men all the time, like, you cannot relate to these women. Like, as much as you want to, and look, I shouldn't say you can't. I can't. I don't know what it's like to be beaten by my boyfriend.
Right.
I don't know what it's like
Trauma.
I don't know what it's like to the sexual abuse from a boyfriend, a drug dealer, a blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it's like to use while I was pregnant, to have my kids taken away by CPS. Like, these are deep emotional things that women go through in recovery,
and we'll never know
that they need to lean on other women. And that's why, like, even if you do get into a relationship with somebody in recovery, they have to have their recovery and you have to have yours. And it has to be, I guess it doesn't have to be anything, but that's the way I've seen it work. Where
The most successful way.
Right, because it's like I can sit here and tell you you're beautiful and you're this, that, and the other thing, and I can pay the rent and I can do this, that. But are you really fixing yourself? No, you're not. You're, and I'm the same. I wanted to fix everything. I just, like, even, you know, I hate to keep going back to my daughter, but it's like, I had to learn that women don't always want you to fix stuff. They want you to shut up. They just want to, like, yell about their problem. Vent. But as men, we're like, oh, that bitch said what?
Yeah, but you know, Jen was talking about it too. It's not just men doing that shit. She brought it up, like, we sometimes try to fix some guys, or that's why I'm like, is this a character defect? Is it just human? Like, look at that situation that you're talking about, and like, can you put a finger on why you did it, or why you found yourself trying to not change someone, or is it fix someone?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe trying to fix or think that I could fix them. I can hardly fix myself. So.
That's what Dustin's good about saying too. He's like, we were on that for a few months almost at the Wednesday meeting. Like, people were worried about, like, if I gotta do this for kids or do this or that, and he's like, look, how can you be a parent when you can't take care of you? Like, you need to start with you. That was a big thing for a while about all these things we're gonna do. Like I think at the beginning.
Well, I know I ruffled a lot of feathers with guys, right? Because I used to tell them, I said, look, man, if you have 2 kids, right, and your relationship is very minimal, right, but you're more worried about what Maddie or Jen's doing, or any girl in this program, if you're more focused on them than you're getting that relationship rebuilt with your child, what are you doing? You're focusing on all the wrong things. Because at the end of the day, it's like, and like I tell the women too, like, if he's more worried about you than the meeting, than the men in this room, if he's coming here for you and not the men in this room, you're already burnt up. You know what I mean?
That people's, like, you know, I think Squid was talking about it, and so is someone else, like, balance. Like, we got to have all this balance, and you've got to have your priorities straight about what, and sacrifice. But, like, what you're talking about is, like, what the reason you're coming here for, or priorities. What are you saying?
Well, we've all seen the guy or the girl or whatever that comes in here and they don't care about the meeting. They don't care about the fellowship. They don't care about the message. They don't care about the building. They think they can do whatever they want here, which is whatever. But it's like, if that's the guy that you're trying to fix, you just got to keep it moving.
A losing
or
guess.
if there's we've all seen the girl that comes in here half naked, blah blah blah. She just wants the attention, blah 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 blah. Like, you don't want those problems. Like,
no, you don't want that smoke.
You don't, and it's like
I was saying that Joe. He was not Tim. You don't want that smoke, right? But it's the truth.
It's the truth, and and I almost feel bad because I know exactly what they're doing because I've been there. Like
sad.
I said, I've done it from the other angle. But the other
Like,
thing,
it's like validation.
It is
100% and attention. And like Dustin said, like women, I can't personally understand what a woman's been through, and like usually, not trying to like profile, but the majority of women that come to these rooms like didn't come in here because shit was good, and they didn't come from like loving relationships where they were taken care of. I mean, like you said, sexual abuse and things that an addict like myself is not going to be able to understand. And how am I going to show up for someone like that? Like you said, I got to work on fixing me first. Like that's got to be a priority for me. And a lot of that, like I know I'm moving right on like with sacrifice, which we don't need to even get to that because that's a whole other step of this talk. But Melinda did, when we were talking about trying to fix other people, she said it's our inner child trying to show us, it's our inner child trying to show up for someone else. How people didn't show up for us.
Yes.
But that doesn't help our inner child. It doesn't help the trauma.
I
Like,
think this is like a good topic because I think people are so quick to judge somebody like,
oh, hell yeah.
oh, look at her, like she's whatever.
I'm
Look
guilty
at
of that.
him, you know.
I
think
we
if
talk
we're
about that.
honest, if we're honest with ourselves, I think we're all guilty.
We all
of
judge.
it.
Like, and
It's
you know what?
just-
That saved my life. You heading out?
No, I'm just,
Oh.
I'm listening intently, and there's a lot of women that I know in this room that are dressed like that for a reason, because they lost weight,
Yeah.
because they finally don't look terrible,
okay.
because they don't have the track marks that they once had, and they're not
You're
dressing
backing
like
them
that
up.
just to
I
try
see,
and impress
I
a
see.
man. They're
well,
doing
then
that
that's
because-
obviously not the women we're talking about.
Yeah,
Then
exactly,
I'm not. It's you know what I mean.
But we're
doesn't-
talking to anybody listening to a
Right,
podcast,
but
you know,
and I'm not talking about those women.
No,
I'm talking
I-
about the women. I'm not even talking about women. I'm talking about people.
Right.
Yeah, men, women, whatever.
I get
That
it.
situation where it's not what you're talking about.
I get it, but for me to be looking at any of that, where's my focus? It ain't on me.
Well, there you go.
You know, and I need, for this addict personally, I need to focus on me and not what you're wearing, what you're doing, not the Beamer you showed up in, a Harley you have, and what I don't have.
Yeah,
All I gotta
that's sometimes
focus in on
that's
is myself.
sometimes there's.
And when I focus on
what we
what
can
you're
say.
doing, I'm gonna lose what I got.
But what is their actions doing? That's
Yeah.
that's kind of what we talk about. Is
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's good to just kind of like remember like what we're talking about just
I'm not
right
saying
here
it
and
wrong.
have empathy
Right.
for people.
Yes,
have empathy and just be
100%.
like, oh, like you see that girl that's half naked and you just think like, damn, that girl
But-
is hurting inside.
But
And
so, like, what I'll say for the men, right, is for me, I just, for me,
Right, yeah,
I had
I
to say,
statement.
I set a boundary, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know you, like Jen, you, there's maybe 3 with Miss Gracie, you're not getting in my truck. It's that simple.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
I see what you're saying though. No, I
Yeah,
get
Yeah.
it.
it's just,
yeah.
but like I see when they go. I'm just trying to choose my words carefully here.
This
But
is
it's
the
like
first.
you know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
like for me to come to this meeting and be like, hey, you know, you need a ride home, you need a this, you need a
Right,
that,
right.
like, you know, you need to get your blah blah blah. It's like we all know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, because the problem is if you're coming in here with shit intentions, what ends up happening in 2 weeks when you find out that the guy that pulled up in the BMW and the girl that's half naked get together, and you find out, hey, the Beamer's rented, and underneath, you know, once those clothes come all the way off, it ain't all that good. You know what I mean? And 2 weeks down the road, you hate each other, and now neither one of you feel comfortable going to meeting. Now Maddie's my friend, and Jen's her friend, and if they talk, and I've seen it 100 times, it puts everybody in this community in a weird position.
Yes.
And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be mindful of
Yes,
when you
yes.
do it. Like, are you being honest? Like, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, or am I saying, hey, I'm trying to wife you up and blah, 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 and I know I'm just cracking cheeks and leaving.
So the strength is in women, is in
That makes sense.
womanhood. And,
Yeah, I know it did.
Women. This is from audience members saying that there is strength in womanhood and sisterhood, and that this is a community that you can find that if that's
Yeah.
what you're here for.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, there are people, we all know this, and I've shared about it a lot, learning it the hard way. Like, I didn't know what recovery was when I came to these rooms, so my head told me everyone else was here for the same reason I was. Well, 4 funerals later and a couple of jail stints, and You learn the hard way.
And you
Yeah.
helicopter wreck.
No, none of that was about me. It was just, dude, the people we left Fairview with, there's 9 of them are dead.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. Like, I didn't realize that people were in here for girls.
In the
And
6
people were
months,
in here for
in the 6 months I was
new
at,
plugs.
at the 6 months that I was in IOP in the morning track of New Way, and I didn't know everybody because I know that I'm pretty awesome, but a lot of people I didn't even talk to. But out of the people that I knew, 21 of the people in the 6 months that as of today are dead.
Yeah,
and that's
just
just in the 6 months I was there 6 years ago. So how now times that times 6 years to by
and
12.
1,500 centers that are doing it. It's just a fact. Unfortunately, it's the way things go. But
You're talking
I think
700,000 fentanyl overdoses in 2022. 700. If 700,000 birds fell out of the sky tomorrow, this government, whoever would be bending over backwards to figure it out.
dude, that's
Now you got me all
that's
fired up.
yeah. That's what we were trying to do. I got gas on his seat. Jen,
What's up?
Jen,
What's up?
Drop this knowledge on me.
That's
Come
what
on.
when COVID took the first year.
What do you want to know?
These guys want to know if you're single. Is your DMs open?
No, they are not open.
you know what?
All right, disregard that message. Sorry.
That's a straight no.
Perfect.
No, that was for Dustin. You can get a. All right. Remember my 3 sound effects, including a yeah.
Ooh.
You hear
Is
that?
your voice?
Yes.
You're a regular.
Kind of. Sound like a fucking creep. All right, so Jen, we're gonna start off with some common questions we ask here. Do you have a higher power in it? So what's that look like in your recovery today?
My higher power is God,
Mm-hmm.
and that looks like community and having, praying often, going to church, having a personal relationship with God. So, talking to Him throughout the day, praying often, getting involved in the church, volunteering as much as I can. Right now I volunteer at Eagle Brook once a month, but I would like to get more involved in other churches. And
Do you go like the Lionel one, or do you go to the one where they do the in-person one, or do they like simulcast
No, I
it?
go to White Bear.
That's I think we went. Dustin and Melinda had me go. I went a few times to meet them, but I didn't realize they do churches like that where they'll just do live at one and simulcast it.
Yeah.
But Eagle Brook's a great facility.
Yes.
Like, and the daycare and like what's really, I always like to bring this up. Like, they don't pass no baskets. It's crazy. I've never been to a church and they have really nice facilities. So that just that shows a lot for what's going on with Eagle Brook.
Yes.
And I think they're pretty involved in the community too, like outreach.
Yes.
I can't speak on a lot of it. Like, are you involved with stuff like that with the church?
No, just more so volunteering and being there for the services and welcoming people and helping with the kids services and things like that. I am involved in Eagle Brook, but I also go to Serenity Village and I like that church too. I
Do you like the Tuesday night meetings there, or you
I
just
used to.
service?
It's been a while, but service
Yep.
either there or Eagle Brook.
So, you can lean on your higher power whenever life is showing up in like I say recovery, but it's in life. Like,
Yes.
we're all in recovery here. What's up, Dilly Bob? Yeah, you're all candy sugared up. I love it. So also, what was some of the biggest hurdles for you in early recovery? Matter of fact, how long have you been in recovery?
5 years.
5 years.
6, but
Yo.
yeah. So let's see.
Like the big hurdles.
Oh gosh, getting trust back from my family, just getting my health back in general. I had, back in 2017, I had a heart condition, endocarditis from IV drug use, and I had sepsis, my whole system was shutting down, and so yeah, just getting my whole health back, it was one of the biggest things. And then, just trust of my family, getting on a routine again, just having like stability and working and finding myself, really.
So that was like, I mean, is that something that just came slowly over time with you doing like the next right thing, or how did all that get corrected? Like, you just dropped a lot of kind of crazy shit just your life. It's the hurdles. I asked you about the hurdles. How did you overcome like that stuff? Like, what was it? We know the answer, but how did you overcome it? Like, what did you do to rectify all those, like, the hurdles?
Well, I would say
Picture time.
I'd say definitely leaning on God, my family, meetings. Let's see. Yeah, just coming into these rooms, getting to know people. Hearing other people's experience and strength and what got them through their hardest times.
Me, obviously.
Let's see.
I had you on mute. We didn't hear it, Dustin.
Obviously, me.
Oh, Dustin, yeah, Dustin.
What
yes.
else?
No, and that's good. I mean, like I said, we know, like, you stuck to this.
Yes.
Like, you just kept doing next right thing type stuff. You said, like, it sounds like you're in a relationship, didn't work out, but you made it through that without a relapse. And, yeah, you still had the same clean date, whatever. Like, I think that's important to share about stuff like that life does show up in recovery, and we don't have to use over it again.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think that's real important because a lot of times, like, Rob's not here and you have a million excuses why, but like he just shared, he's been in these rooms for 22 years, but I think he's celebrating 18 months.
Right.
Like for the 5th or 6th time. Like that says something to me. It's like, what don't you get or what's really going on? I don't know. Without him here, I don't want to really bring it up. So, but these hurdles like that you face and you go through in recovery, like, are these things like you're able to pass on to other women, or like I know she put you on a pedestal a little bit about sharing how you helped her grow?
Yes, no, actually, I mean, like she said, we do help each other. Like she, I was the same girl that didn't want to get called on, or that didn't want to, like still even, I'm kind of like more shy, I don't like to, I mean, not really when we're out at fellowship and stuff. I like to get to know people and, hang out and talk, but I think it's just like the speaking in front of people that I don't, I still am trying to get comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, as much as I've helped her, she's probably helped me 10 times more because, she just helps me get out of my comfort zone. There's just, we kind of give back to each other. So, yeah, and just like she was saying, the Samantha, the Thursday night, Samantha started with the ladies' night, and
You both are doing that?
yeah.
And it's a hot tub meet. She came on air here that like when she came to a little epiphany, like I got to do more, and she's like, I'm gonna do a hot tub meeting, and
Yes.
of course every guy's in here like, when and where? She's like, no, it's a boobs only party, and it was
Yes.
whatever. But I saw it on Facebook or something, like she followed through with it, like,
Yes.
and is that just? It's not a structured meeting. It's just like fellowship, right?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's like fellowship, and then we all talk about like where we're at, and get advice from each other, or even just like,
What
work
guys
related.
creeping on you that week?
Yeah, maybe that's
Just-
But what? Well, shit,
Well,
the
there's
girls.
like that affirmation poem Samantha
Yeah.
made that's super
Nice.
cute. Like,
Yeah, she said something about, she shared on, I should know, I'm a terrible host.
Yeah.
Well, it was like playing pong with the affirmations or something, right? Or what's that called?
Beer,
Not beer pong, but
affirmation.
affirmation pong.
Yeah,
How'd that work out?
it was fun. It's
Was
fun.
it?
Yeah.
So what, you get it in and,
it's hard for the short people. Like, there's no chance.
so we beef off?
Yeah,
Like,
I
Just watch
bullshit.
from the sidelines.
yeah, cheer them on.
I've never even played this pong thing. It's just, is that the further you can reach type deal? Or why is
Like-
this short person
Because it's where it hits you. Like,
hit you? I thought you tried to make it in a
I
cup.
think
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know,
a
but
it's like
it's
a
like where
floating
the-
thing, and you have to.
Oh, in the water.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm slow, guys. I'm just a host.
no, me too. I'm slow too.
I'm just a talent. All right, well then, you know what, Jen, thank you for sharing that stuff. Like, I think it's important for people to hear that, and I think it's really important for people to hear a woman share about it from that side of the street. The big thing I think is like going through a relationship and it going RE and not working out,
Yeah.
and you make it through it without thinking to pick. I don't know. Did you think about using over it?
Nope. No. I mean, it wasn't very long. It wasn't like a long. It wasn't a very long lasting relationship, but no, I never had a thought of using it.
And I think like I always share about that. Like with the loss of my brother, 2 years or 18 months into recovery, it's like I never thought to use it. And the only thing that changed my life was recovery. So it's like this shit works.
Yes.
Now, on to you, real quick. What do you have a higher power? And it's I get people like that ask the same questions for almost 3 years now. People wait for my guests to speak on it. Do you have a higher power? If so, what is it, and how do you utilize it in your recovery?
Yeah, my higher power is God. How do I utilize that? I lean on Him for everything. Like I pray every night, and I just trust. I think so. I went to Catholic school my whole life, K through 9th grade, and so I had this picture of what I thought God was or whatever. but it was like completely different until I had a spiritual awakening in jail, and
You want to share about that?
yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
That used to be like when I do just like 2 guests and they're in there for 2 hours. Like I'd say, have you ever had a spiritual experience or a spiritual awakening? If so, I want to share about it. I want to hear about your jail.
Yeah, I had to do some like some little time in the
unwanted
workhouse.
vacations.
Right. Yeah, and at the workhouse in Plymouth, and it was in the summertime. So I say that because like in the summer when it rains and then the clouds come and they're like super fluffy and pink and the sun's setting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like looking out the window one day and I'm just like, holy shit, these clouds are super cool, like blah, blah, blah. Thinking to myself. The next day, 2 days go by or whatever, and I'm cleaning up and I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, and mind you, I've been praying. This was probably at that moment in my life, my rock bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt like I had no one other than my mom. That's my OG. That's my
Not this mom, but
Not
your
this
real
mom.
your bio mom.
I'm
Yeah.
OG too, though.
But yeah, so I really just had her, I had her and this God, right, that I didn't fully trust and didn't fully like know, and then I saw like a couple days later or whatever, when I was thinking about these clouds, it would be really cool to see one of those clouds again. And I shit you not, like I look out and I just see one cloud sitting out there. And I just like got the chills all over, and I'm like wanting to jump up and down, and like I couldn't believe it. Like I felt like
While
God.
at the workhouse?
Yeah.
Dusty, take a picture of us before you leave. What am I doing? I'm muted myself, not Dusty. So this happened at the workhouse?
This happened at the workhouse.
Like
yeah.
out in the yard area, or?
No, so I'm in my room. I see the clouds one day. A couple days go by, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it'd be really cool to see those clouds again, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm a terrible host. I didn't hear at the beginning when I asked.
That's okay.
I asked you to say that. I didn't hear you say you were in or if you're out in the yard. Okay, so a couple days go by. Yep.
a couple days go by, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, it would be really cool to see those clouds again, right? Just in my head. I look out the window shortly later, and there's one of those pink clouds out there. And I just felt like that was like my moment where I'm like, holy shit, like God is hearing me. I'm a person where I need to see it to believe it.
Right, yep.
Or I'm just like, okay, like whatever. And I just felt like that was the moment where I truly felt like there's something bigger out there. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes people might think I'm crazy for this, Dustin.
Dustin taking selfies.
People, I feel like people think I like sound crazy, whatever, about
you
this
don't.
whole cloud thing, right? But like,
No.
if you've had an experience like that, you know that I don't sound crazy.
But listen, it's like this. You just shared about, all right, your whole childhood, your adolescence, teenage, you were in a Catholic school. Like, so
Yeah.
religion was in your face.
Yeah.
And, like, this happens after all that when you're in jail.
Yeah.
So what did that do for you? Like, did that just validate, okay,
Yeah.
I know there's God.
Yeah.
And then did things kind of internally start changing for you then?
Yeah. I just felt like it was a comforting feeling. It was like bye Dylan. Give Maddie a hug.
Bye, buddy. Give me a fist pumper. Boom.
You want to say bye to the people?
Thanks
yeah.
for having me on, buddy.
Dylan,
Thank
come
you,
here.
guys.
Say bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.
You look.
Boring.
And I don't know what's going on. I've got 30 people saying, what the hell happened? This camera gets funky. And it switched back to my webcam anyway, so bear with me. All right, so your spiritual, no, that's valid, or that's real valid. Like, I've heard 3 gel experiences from people that have changed their life. Like,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And I always ask that, like, was that part of the reason, like, you chose to get into recovery? Or did that,
that
have
was
a
in
big
2017.
weight on it?
That was in 2017. So that was when I attempted to one of the times, but I wasn't finished. I
Yeah,
guess.
you still had to keep doing a little research or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yep, but pretty easy, yes. All right, so you had your spiritual experience, that was 2017, but now that also solidified like your higher power situation, correct? So from there moving forward, you're like, I know there's a God. This is my personal question, is like, prior to that, so all this Catholic school, none of that, like you're just like, yeah, whatever, or what?
Yeah, like, I mean, I know
hard to
Jen
understand.
can relate too, because she went to Catholic school as well. And I mean, like, it's like you're forced to go to church on Wednesdays. You're forced to say this prayer.
You think that
don't-
part, the forced to, is the big
Oh,
part? that-
100%. I don't like to
Right.
don't like to be forced to do anything.
Oh, I know. I'm one of those deals where like, I know, but I gotta ask.
But I get it though. Like, yeah.
And now, like church, like when you're, maybe it has something to do with us growing and being adults, but like now churches are so relatable, and like you can get a clear message from them. And like when we were in Catholic school, they would talk about like things that we really
That weren't even
didn't
relevant
understand.
to you guys.
Yeah,
Like they
it really
read the
wasn't.
Bible and you're like,
Yeah,
what?
you're like, what? And they're using all these.
I'm like,
just,
oh,
yeah.
it's 40 and still don't understand. I'm
Seriously.
reading it.
Yeah.
No, my boss gave me this different Bible. There's a 3-letter. It's something lame, like a layman term Bible. Instead of thou, it says the in it. So
Yeah.
like, I can read it. You're good. But I just can't follow. Like I can't put the Bible. Like, hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna go read the Bible for a while. I understand like it's helpful, but it's pointless if I'm not comprehending what I'm reading.
Yes.
And that's a me deal. I'm not knocking the Bible. It's a me deal.
No, for sure. It's like the pastors and like the, what do you call, like a
Priest.
Well, yeah, like a priest, but like the Serenity Village is like, what do they consider that, like a non-denominational church or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So like pastors, I feel like they read the Bible, they break it down for us what the wordy shit is, and then they're like, and this is how you can relate it, and it's like, yeah. Versus the priests are like, thou
Straight from the
shalt
Bi- yeah.
not.
No, and I get that. Like I always say, like a crusty old priest versus like an ex-crackhead.
Yeah.
Like I mean, how much easier is it when Jeff's over here talking about it and like he can relate versus some 75-year-old dude who's never basically been out but had some wine or whiskey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think we know what I'm talking about. But I've told this a lot on here. It's like one of the first times I went to Serenity, and I didn't know. Like I said, I knew nothing about recovery coming in here. But so I was like, you gotta check out Tuesday night meeting. I went with Derek, and Jeff was up there. He's like, yeah, you know, I gets worked up. He's like, yeah, I used to run around with crack pipes in my sock. Now I put energy bars in my sock. Same difference, but it's healthy. I'm like, this is the fucking pastor talking about crack pipes. To me, that's foreign. Like, I'm not going to Basilica and hearing the father talk about a crack pipe or want some dope. I'm like, like the relatable part, and it's not just because it's drugs, but like, younger. I don't know if they realize to reach the community, like you gotta come at a different approach, or I don't know, but it's done a lot for my life, not just my recovery. Like I found that after the fact. But okay, not about me. You guys are the guests. All of a sudden, like you guys are my guests now. Hey, come on.
Come on, Reed.
Come on.
Yes.
Come
It'll
on.
be real quick.
She's got a story.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something. Anyways, Dustin gave me a nugget to bring up with you.
I'm just gonna bring
go
up
ahead.
one thing real quick. Okay, so back when I don't remember when, like maybe 2.5 years ago, when I just for the new people and people who like are wanting to check out Will Work, when I first came here, a friend of mine brought me here, and I just like fell in love with the vibe, and I was going through like I needed help with the set aside at a job, and
Explain what a set aside is for people.
so it's like when you have a felony or when you have a bad record, and you're trying to get hired at a job, and you like it's like a second step, I guess, to they have to send it into the government, right? Or and then
Get you
have-
approval to
yes.
be working in the field you want to work
Yes,
in. All right.
yes, and it was a job in recovery, and I needed a set aside, and I was like struggling with how am I gonna make this work, and the person that brought me to this meeting introduced me to Carolyn. And she just like jumped right in and tried to help me, figure this out, and how, she was just like there to guide me and like help me through this. And they just have so many resources. So for anybody who's new, they just really like want you guys to know that there's people here that will help you, like jump in right away and help you with whatever you need. So please.
Well, like this room right here, you see that door? This is, there's 12 brand new computers in there. and a guy comes here and donates his time. He donated those computers, and they do a re-entry program. Like, I think it's like $5, $10, or $15, whatever it is. Like, if you want to come check it out and you like can't afford the money, talk to me. Reach out to me directly. I'll make sure it happens. I can flip the bill for you. Whatever the case is, this is the type of stuff she's talking about. Like, it's a recovery center. It's not just AA or NA. It's a place you can come to network, and you heard Dustin talk about it. Like, you get guys like him in here, or Paul, and they're going to hold you accountable to some recovery, but also give you some, what's up? Are you twacking over there? Get your headphones on, get part of the show, girl. Come on, get comfy.
She's like, fuck, I'm tired.
I know, join the club. Okay, so we're not gonna spend a ton of time on you. I kind of curious about what's going on here. We might have lost sound or something. It's just the viewership dropped way down, which usually tells me there's a problem with some sound or something.
We were boring them.
No, we weren't. Not at all. Until the camera, and once that camera went out, I think a lot of people, because of the hour.
I touched it.
You're fine. It's a shit connect. You're fine. I don't know why you wanted to wreck my show, but it's all good. Who are? Oh, Jesus, Dustin. Here, I'll fiddle with this. Here we go. Boom, boom. Oh no, Dilly was on there. That's what was going on. So you're gonna need to be as uncomfortable as you can, getting close to that mic. There we go. Right there. There. Perfect.
Okay.
I got that quality shit. Okay. Boom. Who are you?
My name is Ree.
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 And what's up?
Nothing. I'm just tired.
Why are you in these rooms? Why are you here? What are you in recovery, or are you just support, or you're
I'm
Ree
a little over 2 years sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just
Creepy.
this is like I'm 44 years old, so
Yeah.
I've been at this a long time, and I just recently got it together and put a little bit of time together finally, but this is like the first time that I've really been connected to a recovery community. Like, I never would I wouldn't go to meetings much, I wouldn't go to events, I wouldn't get close to anybody, I would just,
Mm-hmm.
the bare minimum.
I think we all know what that's like.
The bare minimum, but now it's just really different. I'm just,
You are tired.
I am really tired, but I'm super grateful. I am. I've been a shit show the last few weeks, for real. But
How do you get through a shit show the last few weeks? No, and I'm being serious when I ask you this next question.
real.
It's like, what do you do? Like, the shit's piling up, weight's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Life sucks.
yeah,
What do you do?
you reach out and you lean on these people in these rooms. If I didn't have this community, I think my mind would be really busy, and I think the chances of me running or doing something stupid would be higher.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
But yeah, being this community has just like 100%
Right. Cool.
stepped up
Thank you.
and been there and supported me. I love my people.
The recovery community.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you some basic questions that everyone gets asked. Like, do you have a higher power?
Yes.
No, don't have to ask if so. How do you utilize your higher power in your recovery?
So, I've been really. These are okay.
They're fire, huh? The high chews?
These are. But
What? You just tell me what you want, and I got a whole drawer full of more stuff.
You guys have a mango high chew?
I don't know if there is any more mango.
Here you go. If you guys want
have
one of
any
those. Twix? Yes. We're having a party. All right, this is secret jam right there. All right, I felt that good.
There's no more
Have you ever had one of these though? These are the business.
I have wondered about these. Are these
Have you-
good?
Oh, those are Jen's favorite.
These are the best.
Try one.
Oh my gosh, you have more?
He ate them.
I go in pretty hard on those.
Okay, perfect. That's
No, it's not. Oh my God! Sorry, audience. It went up to like 15, then back down to 1. We're just eating candy right now. We're having a candy party.
Here's a mango one. Oh, I love
Oh,
the
mango.
So good.
Mango is good.
Okay, so
I've never had a high chew.
Show the people what a high chew is.
I want to say Gesundheit. Like, oh, this one. Everyone knows me
That
and my.
commercial, the Buenos or whatever, that commercial.
These are so fire.
Gesundheit, isn't that
Bless you. Yeah.
in German?
I don't know, but.
I'm German.
Me too.
Jake
I
Holla.
used to see that commercial when I was in prison all the time.
My mom.
They're so good. These are so good. I'm sorry, audience. We're just having a little party here. I always try to get my. I usually have Red Bulls, but someone told me to get these things because there's so much. There's like 3 or 4 cups of caffeine in these.
Really? I thought
One
that
of
was
them.
supposed to be good for you.
Yeah, but there's just a shit ton of caffeine. I think.
I never knew that.
I don't know. Some of them do.
It literally
Super
says
drink.
no caffeine.
All right. Well, does that one say no caffeine?
I was gonna say shit. We're gonna be
Which
up all
one?
night now.
I'm telling you, some of them I have like Paul.
Look right here at the bottom.
No, I know. Paul's the one who told me. He's like,
I think you got the drink mixed up.
no. This one says no caffeine too. You know what?
Is that one?
No, right here.
No.
Yeah, no, some free and no caffeine. Okay. There are body armors with a shit ton of caffeine. Google that shit.
I was just gonna say,
There's-
Google it.
I'm telling you, my coworker drinks them because he's like, no, there's like 400 milligrams of caffeine, but I think there's certain ones. Well, apparently not these ones. They all say no caffeine. I think I'm getting you guys all whacked out, and it's not happening.
Oh.
Going to sleep.
All right.
So, okay, so I have.
Go ahead, Rita.
I forget who I was telling this to the other day. I'm like, I'm just really in a position where I need to hear from God. God is my higher power. I'm really plugged in. I also like Serenity Village. My sister has a church that she's now a pastor, her and her husband.
Nice.
So yeah, I have that whole piece. But yeah, so God is my higher power, and it's like I depend on Him, like for guidance, like in a sense, like I really believe that He makes a way for me, and He opens and closes doors, and but I feel like I need to be in a position to hear from Him.
Yes.
Because if you have a whole bunch of, like, I think being spiritual is different than just going to church,
100%.
higher power and like spiritual. That's like some deep stuff like that. So you gotta intentionally do the work and intentionally spend time with whatever it is you believe,
And like listen to him.
Yeah.
When you're asking for him, and like in the abstract ways that he could be potentially like speaking to, like. Sorry, just really quick. Like when I pray for patience, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm praying for patience. What the heck? Well, He's giving me these situations to be patient in, and I'm like, haha, that's what it is. Okay.
And like,
me and Robert were just talking about that. How we were like, damn, like some people always talk about like how they can hear like they can hear God and what He's saying, and I'm like, where are you at? Like how come I can't hear you? You know what I mean? Like, but you're right. Like He will put you in positions where it's like, okay, well. Like, sometimes I wonder, am I on the right path, like, as far as work and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, then something will come my way, and it's like, maybe that's His way of talking to me.
So can I drop some on all you guys, and you can agree with it, not agree with it, or just take it what you want. I had someone on about a year ago, and I'm kind of like what you were saying, like, I have this issue, if I can't touch, see, feel, it ain't real. But I want to say, like, I believe. And I'll tell you, like, I just deep down, 100%, I'd be lying to you if I'm like, yeah, for sure there's a God. And I know, like, I don't need to go further than that. I think you guys all understand what I'm saying. And I rely on it more than anyone could ever imagine. And so with the higher power, God, we're talking all this. And like, you're talking about hearing this, and I said something very similar to someone who's like, I just prayed on it, and I got my answer. I'm like, but how'd you get your answer? Like, I grilled him on air. I'm like, but how? He's like, Tim, you know what's up on the inside. Like, you thinking about making a decision. I'm like, yep. And he's like, all right, so you know what the wrong decision is? Like, of course. Like, that's when I'm out doing dope. Like, I knew it wasn't right. I'm not dumb. I was raised right from wrong. Like, I know this ain't right. He's like, well, that voice telling you it ain't right, that's your God. That's God. Like, you go and pray for something to happen. Like, he also kind of dropped it on me. He's like, look, you can pray for potatoes to grow, but if you ain't out there watering them, they're not going to grow. You have to do your part. Like, sure, there's a supernatural aspect of things, but when you pray on something and you're like, help God, like, let me do your will. We know what that is. the way it was worded. Like, I know inside what the right thing is. We all do. We're not like psychopaths or maniacs. But it made sense for me when you said that. It's like, okay, so, because I've yet to get some like sign or something where I'm like, oh shit, that's the cloud I've been looking for. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Seriously, yeah.
and I get it. That's someone's spiritual experience.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
But I can always just say like, you need me? I got you. Oh. I can always just be like, look, I watched Dustin, like, when he came in the first few times and not getting this and then being whacked out, passed out, black, and now he's here. Like, I can be like, that's a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I can get in my own head and daily, like, this is goofy and I shared about it a while ago, like, I made reservations to go to a spendy restaurant and they're like, is this an occasion? I'm like, yeah, it's an anniversary. It's like, it's our anniversary. So we get there and call it dishonest or not, but I was honest with the server, like, what's the occasion? I'm like, it's our anniversary. Oh yeah, well, how long? I'm like, oh, like 2 years and 4 months. No, it's like 1 year and 4 months, 8 days. Like, this is an anniversary for me.
Right.
It is. Today's an anniversary. I've never been clean this long. Today's a fucking miracle for me to be alive. Like, if I really, because I can get my head enough to think about it and like look from up here down at really what's happening. I was shoving needles in my arms.
Right.
Foreign dope, like not knowing what, like, I'm alive today and like I can look at it and point like, it's a miracle. Like, here's a spiritual experience. I'm here. You're here. I can get down as small as shit like that, and that just helped for me when I was talking to other people about it. But so how do you get your answers? I just went on some big tangent about some shit now.
I feel like doors open. I thought I took the last one. I feel like you feel peace within you. I feel like you just know.
Yeah.
Inside.
I feel like you just know inside, and like, if you're authentic and you're genuine, pure with your thoughts and your intentions and stuff like that, I think that you're gonna know. You're gonna.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because that's what I
mean, karma is good and bad. Like, what you put out there is what, you know, I believe.
But see, I also will say something like, I think I get to say, like, God put people like Ken in my life, or like Jack, or like Dustin. Someone who's gonna call me on some shit like, yeah, I needed that, like, don't shoot the messenger type shit. So, girls, we went 22 minutes over the time we were supposed to.
Oh,
It's my show. We go as long as we fucking want. It's my Friday night meeting, so it's all good. Lodging Plus is, wow, I wonder if they're upset that we were talking about them. I'm joking. They're the ones that they played my show in their at their inpatient during COVID.
Cool.
Like, that was real cool. That was our biggest quarter.
Oh,
So
that's I know.
Fairview
Yes,
Riverside Lodging Plus.
I
I
went
went
there.
there too, yep.
Ah, that's funny. We're having like.
You know, look at smile. I got you eating candy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're pissed.
You're all good.
No,
There.
you look good.
No, you look real. No, all right, there we go. You're good. The camera view shit. Now I changed it. It's way better. I'm just checking out. So this is a part of the show where we go around and talk about our gratitude. Hence, the name is Attitude for Gratitude. So we'll just go. Who wants to start? It's what are you grateful for today in your recovery?
I'll go. I'm sorry.
Get after it.
Oh, this fucking gnat keeps.
That candy.
It was over there too.
Following you. She's seeing shit.
I'm super grateful for my freedom, my family, my children, my sobriety, my little apartment, just the little basic joys of life.
Now I change it. The little joys in life.
Yeah, my grandchildren. That's probably my greatest.
Grandchildren? You said you're only like 40.
44. I have 4 grandchildren. And that's probably my biggest joy right now is my grannies. I just love them so much.
Your grannies?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I call them my grannies. And yeah, I mean, even with all the shit that I've been going through, like, I still have a roof over my head. I still have my people. I still have good things. My bills are still paid. Sometimes I don't know how, but they are. You know, it just, life is just working out. Like, it's just, and I think you guys were talking about trusting the process a little earlier, and it's like, that's exactly, like, when you get it, when I feel like I had to remind myself, like, getting discouraged, like, it's worked this far.
Right.
For me.
No, yes.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm just super grateful for my people. I love you guys.
I share, like, we go through some major shit or, like, a couple weeks of bullshit. And what changed in our life? We're doing recovery. Did I want to use over it? Nope. Something's working.
Exactly. And I never, that's like the farthest thing from my mind. God damn.
We gotta get some bug control in here.
But yeah, I haven't thought about using, like, I don't want to do that. And I believe that a lot of that I can credit is these
I'm sorry.
People.
Can we put the net on the mic, please?
These people around me, you know
This
what I mean?
community.
Yes, because we want it's connection, and when whoever in treatment or whatever they talk about that.
Connection or opposite of addiction is
connection, and that's what our soul and, like, us as humans, like, crave and we need, and it's been a study. People have done studies on it. Like, you'll live longer if you I can't quote it fully, but yeah. Anyway. See, now you see what was trying to go up my nose.
Oh, I saw it. I've been seeing it. It's out of the corner of my eye. Since that accident, I always see this weird thing over here. All right. What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for the the people that I have in my life. I'm very grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for my crazy ass dad. I am grateful for my little apartment, and I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful I have this new opportunity coming that I'm super, super grateful for. I'm grateful to have a car that works. I'm grateful for, just like you said, just like the little things, like the food in my fridge, the bed I sleep on, a warm shower, freedom, AC in the house. I ain't got it in the car right now, but
do you think, like, in recovery, it's easier for us the things that we took for granted? It's so much easier to recognize and be grateful for now.
Yeah, I agree. For sure. Yeah. Well, and like I think in the past, the things that I took for granted were quickly taken away from me. God's like, oh, bet, watch this.
Yes.
That's cool. You can correlate it to, like, God.
Yeah. So.
Like, it's a lesson. Thank you. Yeah. Jeez, I know where all the gnats are coming from. Me spitting food out of my mouth. Oh. Yeah, gross. I know. All right, Jen, speak on it. What are you grateful for today?
Well, kind of like what everybody already said, but I am grateful for my sobriety.
No copping out. You get yours. You get all yours. Your sobriety, okay.
My sobriety, my friends in recovery, my relationships that I've built, just everything. My living situation isn't ideal, but it's what I have, and I'm grateful for it. And
you got a roof over your head?
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right.
And just my family, my brother. Shout out Nick. I know he's watching.
Yes, he is, and he's been on me about making sure you get some mic time. In a way, making jokes.
She don't talk, make her talk.
He's like, more Jen.
Oh, I love you, Nick.
Nick's the shit. He's a big contributor of our Wednesday nights too.
Yes, yeah, and I'm grateful for our women's Thursday night. I'm grateful for my parents.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
If you guys have meetings you want to shout out and talk about,
yes.
Bring it Thursday nights where?
Thursday nights at
the
Marquette Place apartment.
A luxury apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one with, okay.
That's
all
the
right.
one with
Yep.
that's the girls' night, and then Monday nights.
Hit up one of us and we can add you
Yes.
to the group chat so you know what's going down with it.
Yes.
Tuesday, clean and serene.
Yep.
Tuesday, clean and serene. Where's that?
I think it's
41
Washington
Avenue.
All right.
The kickball.
So I'm not giving out their numbers online, but if there's anything they bring up that you want, you can reach out to me and I will get the information from them. Any of the meetings they're talking about, and they're talking about strong women's meetings and fun meetings with good fellowship.
Yes, and there's a women's meeting here at Will Work on 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. There's a meeting on Monday that I chair, and there's a meeting on Friday tonight that Maddie chairs, and we're gonna get Rita chair soon too.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for literally everything in my life. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs, and and you guys and for being here. I really was nervous to do this, but I'm glad I
Really?
did. Yeah.
I know she did so good, but she was so nervous.
I didn't get you guys on that early, especially you, but like you guys have been in your chairs for almost an hour.
Awesome.
Like
Glad we
almost
made
an
it
hour.
this
Most everyone says that though. I guess I've been doing it so long. Like I said, it's my Friday night meeting, but everyone's always says they're nervous to do this. Dustin, you guys didn't see him. I've never seen him like that. The first minute, he was nervous.
He was super nervous, and I got it on.
Good.
Snapchat.
I've never seen that, but I knew he opened up like a can of worms within a minute. That's D. You know how it is. All right, so thank you guys so much for coming on the show. And this is the part that I pull a real dick move. But do any of you three have a problem coming back on as a guest for the whole show?
No,
All right, I got you on there. I will replay this clip on the voice
That's
message
all right.
I leave you.
That's all right.
Like, all right, bet you got the whole recovery community waiting to hear from you, and you're gonna tell them no. Okay, so
You sleep at night with that.
2520 North 2nd Street. That's right here. We'll work for recovery. It's Suite 2. We do the podcast in the back, so you come to the Friday night meeting if you want. Otherwise,
Get pizza.
yeah, it's pizza and podcast by American Pie. This pizza's fire. Did you guys get some?
Yeah, it was
It's
really
so
good.
good.
I like it. It's usually
snacks.
like Will would always bring one in for Paul on Wednesdays at the end of our meeting, and I'd snake a piece. I'm like, dude, bring me. He said, I just bring one for Paul. Blah blah blah. It's good as pizza. I didn't know they had the locations they had. I thought it was just in Richfield, but there's one in Richfield. There's one in Bloomington, Edina, and South Minneapolis. Their hours are Monday. They're closed on Monday, and they're open every day of the week. They got appetizers, calzone, burgers, sandwiches, hoagies,
It's really good.
roasted. That was the chicken from there, right?
Yeah.
That was
really
good.
Yep.
Will, look at Will. You know he's eating some good food. Like, I love Will, but American Pie Pizza, they are, like I said, I explained it earlier, they're not our sponsor. He offered to sponsor. I don't do sponsors because I don't. I believe I like their product, and it's awesome, and they help the recovery community out. So I have no problem talking about American Pie Pizza. It's super fire. Come on down and try it. You're not paying for it. It's free. Come check out the podcast. Come on down here. We'll work for recovery. You heard us talk about like CP. You heard us talk about Clean and Serene. You heard us talk about Serenity Village, Eagle Brook, 2218, Blaine Alleno, Fridley Alleno, New Hope Alleno, the bonfire meeting out at Bob and MJ's.
Yep.
And you heard us talk about people's lives being turned around. So just, if you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. You got my number. Otherwise, use this comment section. But just reach out. You're worth the fight. Like, if no one's told you today, I love you. Yeah. You're loved. And other than that, girls, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Adios.
Good night, everyone.